For the first time in their 3 years of marriage, her husband transferred money to her, but it was only to draw her blood. Her evil mother-in-law had also never treated her like a human being. Even when she was sick with a fever, she was forced to cook. And for these 3 years, she had been treated like a country bumpkin by her in-laws. But in reality, she was the heiress to a $100 billion fortune, unable to spend the $1 million she splurged every day. For 3 years, she had endured everything for the sake of love. But now, a single photo had crossed her line. It trampled on her dignity. In the photo, her husband was lying next to his mistress. The mistress even provoked her brazenly. "So what if you're the rich wife? He's still sleeping next to me." The woman realized that true love cannot be exchanged for true love. From then on, she made a comeback, furiously rebuking her evil mother-in-law, slapping the scumbag mistress, and began her ascent to the pinnacle of life. "Let's get a divorce, Fu Yechuan." But her husband immediately called to question her. "What are you playing at? Sunan, how much money will it take for you to donate blood? Wanru is in grave danger right now. Let's meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau in an hour. Otherwise, you can just let her die." An hour later, Fu Yechuan's face was cold. "Don't regret this. Did you really think you're the only one who can donate blood? Let's divorce." She met the man's gaze and decisively picked up the divorce certificate. "If I have any regrets, it's marrying you." But the man didn't seem to care, even reminding her to go to the hospital. To this day, this man was still thinking about her donating blood. But it didn't matter. She happened to have some scores to settle in person. In the hospital, nurses were gathered around the mistress. The female lead kicked the door open. "You sent that photo just now, didn't you?" But the green tea bitch put on an innocent expression. The next second, however, the female lead slapped her face. The green tea bitch was stunned. How dare she hit her? The man immediately shielded her. The female lead said, "No need to pretend, I know it was you," and then threw down a stack of photos. The man looked confused and shocked. He had taken care of Wanru all day yesterday and had just dozed off for a moment. This was clearly a deliberate, secretly taken photo. "Xiao Wanru, you're the mistress who destroys other people's families. You're truly despicable." But the green tea bitch continued her act, repeatedly claiming she was framed. Getting emotional, she even swore in Chun Heng's name. "But he entrusted me to you before he died." And Chun Heng was the man's brother-in-arms who had gone through life and death with him. The man thought, forget it. The blood transfusion is more important. The female lead looked at the doctor. "A blood transfusion? Are you sure?" The doctor stammered, Miss Chiao does indeed need a blood transfusion." But the female lead ripped the green tea bitch's blanket off. The wound under the bandage was just a scrape. "See? Your doctors are so professional." An heiress of a wealthy family hid her identity and gave up her inheritance rights to marry the man she loved, only to be treated as a gold digger, bullied by her mother-in-law, and ignored by her husband. Su Nan and Fu Yechuan had been married for 3 years, but she still hadn't warmed his heart. In their 3 years of marriage, every time Fu Yechuan contacted Su Nan, it was to make her go to the hospital to sell her blood, turning her into a mobile blood bank for Xiao Wanru. The green tea bitch, Xiao Wanru, even repeatedly sent provocative photos. Just then, her mother-in-law called. Simply because the maid had the day off, her mother-in-law yelled at her, "Why haven't you gotten your ass back here to cook?" Sunan had given up her family and friends, only to live a life worse than a maid's. The 3-year marriage she had nurtured turned out to be nothing but a joke. Her husband texted her again, telling her to go to the hospital to donate blood. Heartbroken, Sunan proposed a divorce. Her husband called immediately, thinking she wanted more money because she felt it wasn't enough. But this time, the woman's gaze was firm. Fu Yechuan, let's meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau in an hour. Otherwise, just let her die. Arriving at the Civil Affairs Bureau, Fu Yechuan's face was grim. Sunan, what exactly are you dissatisfied with? I know you donated extra blood this month, but I've already compensated you for it. Sunan replied faintly, let's get a divorce. Sunan, do you really think you're the only one who can donate blood? Sunan, don't you regret this? Sunan stood up and picked up the divorce certificate. She said in a firm tone, my biggest regret is marrying you 3 years ago. Don't worry, I'll go donate blood one last time, and I'll also go to settle the score. Fu Yechuan watched her retreating back, forget it. When she can't survive on her own, she'll naturally come begging me. At the hospital, Xiao Wanru saw Sunan arrive and pretended to be concerned, asking if her body could handle it. Sunan got straight to the point, questioning Xiao Wanru. You sent the text and the photo, didn't you? What text? I don't know. Sunan raised her hand and slapped Xiao Wanru directly. Fu Yechuan stepped in front of Xiao Wanru, questioning Sunan. Are you crazy? Sunan threw the stack of photos at Fu Yechuan's chest. However, Fu Yechuan questioned her instead. How did you get these photos? Xiao Wanru, people like you who destroy other people's families are called mistresses. Are you satisfied now? I wish you success in taking my place. Yechuan, Sunan has misunderstood. I really didn't do anything. I didn't take this. She must have hired someone to frame me. She tugged pitifully at Fu Yechuan's sleeve. Yechuan, is it because Sunan donates blood to me that your relationship is affected? I really didn't know. About the photo, I can swear on Chunheng's name. He was your comrade who went through life and death with you, and he entrusted me to you before he died. This sentence made Fu Yechuan believe Xiao Wanru again. Fu Yechuan questioned Sunan, is this why you want a divorce? Seeing Sunan's cold smile, Fu Yechuan didn't press the issue. Forget it. Xiao Wanru's condition is more important. Donate the blood first. I'll explain the photo situation to her later. Sunan looked at the doctor beside them. Are you sure she needs a blood transfusion? Xiao Wanru signaled the doctor with her eyes. The doctor had long been bribed. Miss Xiao just fell. She has severe blood loss in her leg and needs a transfusion. Faced with this silent truth, Sunan directly used her hands to uncover the filth beneath the blanket. She unwrapped the bandage on Xiao Wanru's knee. The so-called severe blood loss was nothing more than a scrape. If I had come any later, it probably would have healed, right? Xiao Wanru hurriedly explained to Fu Yechuan. Yechuan, it's not like that. My body is weak, so blood transfusions help me recover faster. Getting injured every week or two. You're really delicate. From now on, have Fu Yechuan find another sucker to be your mobile blood bank. Leaving the hospital room, Sunan collapsed onto a chair. The grievance in her eyes could no longer be hidden. She called her eldest brother. 15 minutes later, a figure stopped in front of Sunan. He carefully picked up his younger sister. Fu Yechuan asked the doctor, does a leg injury of this severity require a blood donation? Is this the level of your hospital's professional competence? It was Miss Chiao's order. She said you agreed, and you were present for every blood donation. Mr. Fu will never dare to do it again. A trace of guilt arose in Fu Yechuan's heart. Xiao Wanru, have I been too indulgent with her? It seems Sunan is insistent on divorce because she misunderstood my relationship with Xiao Wanru. He wanted to call Sunan to explain things clearly, but her phone was already turned off. He immediately ordered his bodyguards to find Sunan. 10 minutes later, Mr. Fu, we couldn't find Madam. The surveillance system was hacked. We can't track where she went. Fu Yechuan stroked his chin, thinking Sunan is penniless. Where could she go after the divorce? Fu Yechuan roared at the bodyguards. Go find her now. Notify me immediately when you do. Do you think Sunan will have a change of heart? Sunan and Fu Yechuan had been married for 3 years, but she still hadn't warmed his heart. In their 3 years of marriage, every time Fu Yechuan contacted Sunan, it was to make her go to the hospital to sell her blood for Xiao Wanru. Xiao Wanru even provoked her repeatedly, turning Sunan's 3-year marriage into a joke. She thought everything would end after the divorce, but she didn't expect to still be treated as a mobile blood bank even after divorcing. Sunan had no choice but to go home and inherit her billion-dollar fortune. The Su family villa. Sunan woke up, opening her eyes to the familiar surroundings. Tears welled up unconsciously. In the end, she had come back. Suddenly, her best friend and father pushed the door open and saw Sunan crying. Her father said, "What are you crying for? It's just a divorce. Can't our Su family afford to support you?" Looking at the friends and family she had neglected over the years, Sunan could no longer hold back and threw herself into her father's arms. This would be the last time she cried for that scumbag. Her father comforted her, "Silly child. You never suffered the slightest grievance growing up, yet now, for Fu Yechuan, you gave up your status as the family heiress. You were looked down upon in his home. Nan, we agreed on a 3-year limit. If he didn't fall in love with you, you would come back to inherit the company. Now you have to keep your promise." Sunan wiped her tears. Her eyes firm, she said, "Don't worry, Dad. I won't be so foolish again. I'll treat the past 3 years as the most valuable lesson of my life. Since he won't accept me, I should go back to being the proud and confident heiress of the Sue family. Her father was also glad that his daughter had finally seen her own heart clearly. I'll have your eldest brother help you get familiar with the company first. Then we'll pick a good day to hold a welcome banquet and announce your identity. Her best friend, Xiao Yu, was overjoyed by her act of cutting off her love-brained ways. She came over and hugged Sunan. Honey, congratulations on your divorce. That fool Fu Yechuan treated fish eyes as pearls. He'll regret it one day. Because the divorce was so rushed, I still have some documents at the Fu residence that I need to get. I'll come back to the mansion with you. Sunan, dressed in a $10 million haute couture outfit, appeared with her best friend. For 3 years in this house, her status was lower than even a maid's. Now, she could finally walk in with her head held high. Seeing Sunan, her mother-in-law, Su Qing, snapped at her irritably. How many times have I told you? The Fu family has many confidential documents. Don't bring random people back here. Don't you have any memory? Seeing Su Nan remain silent, Xiao Yu retorted angrily. Who are you calling a random person? At your age, you're still making indirect insults? But Su Qing sneered, don't think you can join high society just by wearing some fake designer clothes. I've seen plenty of low-class people like you who dream of marrying into a wealthy family. Sunan couldn't listen anymore. This is my friend. Please be more respectful. Hearing this, Su Qing slammed her coffee cup on the table. Respect? Su Qing stood up, pointed at Sunan, and said, after 3 years of eating and drinking well in our Fu family, she's forgotten that she's from a humble background. And you, where did you come from, you insolent brat? Watch me teach you a lesson today. She raised her hand to hit Xiao Yu. She stepped forward domineeringly and pushed Su Qing onto the sofa. Only Sunan would slave away for you. I won't put up with you. The Fu family is just a bunch of nouveau riche with some stinking money. If it weren't for Sunan, I wouldn't even bother to look at you. I'm afraid the Fu family's floor will dirty my shoes. Sunan watched this scene without stopping it. After all, this could be considered the interest payment for the 3 years her mother-in-law had bullied her. She went straight upstairs to pack her things. Su Qing, gritting her teeth in anger, roared at Sunan. Believe it or not, I'll throw you out. Sunan stopped in her tracks. I don't need to throw me out. I'll leave as soon as I get my things. I was so foolish before, giving up my dignity for a man. From now on, I don't have to endure it anymore. Sunan only took some of her personal documents, but she didn't take the card her husband had used to pay her for the blood donations over the years. However, just as they were leaving, the mother-in-law warned Sunan with a grim face, I'll tell Yechuan about what happened today. Don't think you can get away with this. Even if you cry and beg me on your knees, I'll still throw you out. However, before Su Qing could finish, Sunan turned back with a cold smile. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Yechuan and I are already divorced. Even if you cry and beg me on your knees, I will never set foot in here again. The Macau heiress gave up her family inheritance for a man. However, not only did her husband neglect his wife, but he also doted on the green tea bitch. He not only made his wife a mobile blood bank for the green tea bitch, calling his wife to the hospital to donate blood at a moment's notice. The woman, having suffered enough, decided to stop being a bootlicker. She chose to divorce and go home to inherit her billion-dollar fortune, only to be kicked while she was down by her mother-in-law, Su Qing, who falsely accused her online of stealing a treasured $10 million necklace dream. She even declared that if the dream necklace was not returned by the next day, she would pursue legal action. Her best friend, Xiao Yu, cursed at the $10 million item, and she dares to show it off like that? Has she never seen money before? Someone even commented on Sunan's Weibo, calling her a buffoon that I've only seen dream once. Fu Yichuan always kept it locked in the safe. I don't know the password, and I never asked him for it. Since my former mother-in-law isn't leaving me any dignity, there's no need for me to hold back either. Naturally, I'll return the favor and teach them a lesson. Sunan called her eldest brother. I remember Third Brother's entertainment company is under my name. Who's managing it? Duyan. I'll have him handle the online matter immediately. No need. I'll handle this myself. Soon, 2 photos shot to the top of the trending topics. One was of Fu Yechuan cheating. The other was of a wealthy family's daughter gambling extravagantly overseas. When Fu Yechuan found out, he furiously berated his subordinate, who authorized the use of the company account to post this news. Madam gave the order overnight and has already taken command. Since when does Madam call the shots in this company? Take down this trending topic immediately. But the subordinate reported that CEO Du of Hwine Entertainment had given the word. This news must stay up for a full 24 hours. Hwine Entertainment is a top player in the industry. No one dares to disrespect them. Fu Yechuan helplessly held his forehead. Does Su Nan really have this much power? Does she think I orchestrated all of this? Just then, his father called, telling him to find Su Nan and get her to delete the photos. Su Qing chimed in from the side. Yechuan, bring that bitch back here. I'll definitely teach her a good lesson. Fu Yechuan didn't foolishly side with his mother. Was she wrong? It was clearly Ying who took the necklace. Why frame Su Nan? If I hadn't found out where the necklace was, would Su Nan have had to take the blame? Fu Yechuan's angry fist slammed onto the armrest. Su Nan's online response was so emotionless. Does she not have a shred of trust in me? Su Qing was unreasonable. How was I supposed to know Ying took it? Wasn't it always in your safe? Who else would take it besides her? Seeing his mother still unrepentant, Fu Yechuan's voice turned 3 parts colder. It's not too late to apologize now. What? You want me to apologize? The one who should be apologizing is that penniless, powerless, ungrateful nobody from who knows where. How dare she plunge the Fu family into crisis? You bring her back here and watch how I deal with her. We're already divorced. After saying that, Fu Yechuan hung up the phone. He asked his subordinate, have you found Su Nan? Mr. Fu, it's as if Miss Su has vanished from the city. We can't find any trace of her. Keep looking. He checked Su Nan's Weibo. Every post recorded her expectations for him, her beautiful hopes for the future. They were just insignificant little things. All of it was filled with her love for Fu Yechuan during their 3-year marriage. These 3 years of marriage were not a blank slate. They were densely packed with him, but I didn't know her at all, and I never once participated in her happiness. However, when he tried to scroll down, nothing more would load. When Fu Yechuan refreshed again, Su Nan's Weibo no longer existed. All those posts, she just deleted them like that, as if these 3 years had never happened. Fu Yechuan gripped his phone, his expression complicated. Even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground, I will find her. A woman hid her identity and gave up her inheritance rights to marry a man, only to be bullied by her mother-in-law and ignored by her husband. She was frequently provoked by a white lotus. The woman's heart grew cold. After the divorce, her brother took her home to inherit her billion-dollar fortune. 1 month later, at the Walton Hotel, Xiao Wanru's face was beaming with happiness. During this time, even when I was really sick, Yechuan didn't come to see me once. But thankfully, he's divorced. I finally got my chance. However, it's true that enemies are destined to meet. Su Nan also attended this high society banquet, and she was the date of Shiqing's Sujin. Fu Yechuan's gaze was fixed on Su Nan. She seemed like a different person, completely different from before that I couldn't find her for a whole month, and now she's Su Jin's date? What's their relationship? Xiao Wanru saw that Fu Yechuan's eyes were all on Su Nan. Su Nan, what are you doing here? Is this a place you can come to? Su Jin spoke politely. I wonder which CEO's daughter this young lady is. Xiao Wanru answered irrelevantly. Sir, you may not know, but Su Nan just divorced Yechuan. Su Jin sneered. Who made the rule that divorced people can't come? Didn't Mr. Fu come as well? Xiao Wanru was left speechless. Su Nan laughed coldly. Do I need to report to Miss Xiao whether I can come or who I'm with? You worry about too much, don't you? At this moment, people around were whispering that she was the other woman. Xiao Wanru awkwardly called out Yechuan, but Fu Yechuan ignored her completely. It seems the entire banquet's class has been lowered by Miss Xiao's presence. Mr. Fu needs to improve his taste in women. Humiliated, Xiao Wanru gritted her teeth. Damn it, that white lotus, Su Nan. Fu Yechuan turned his head towards Su Nan's departing figure. How long has it been since the divorce? She's already pretending not to see me and turning to another's arms. The hotel rooftop pool. Xiao Wanru called out to Su Nan. You deliberately came to this banquet to get close to Yechuan, didn't you? You're already divorced. Why are you still pestering him? If I were you, I'd hide far away, not rush to get humiliated. Sunan swirled her wine glass, looking down on her. Xiao Wanru, everyone knows you're the other woman now. Have you been happy lately? Xiao Wanru looked shameless. Status isn't important, feelings are. Yechuan, and I can make it to the end. Can you? You probably bought your invitation with the money from selling your blood, right? Your clothes and jewelry are all rented too. A cast-off wife from a wealthy family. What right do you have to enter such a high-class venue? She approached Sunan step by step. Sunan, you asked for this. Then she staged a scene and jumped into the pool. The splash immediately attracted the attention of the socialites. Sunan's gaze didn't waver in the slightest. It was exactly the same scene as 3 years ago. 3 years ago, at Fu Yechuan and Sunan's wedding banquet, Sunan, I won't congratulate you. After all, you're not the one Yechuan loves. He only married you so you could donate blood to me anytime. You won't be happy together. If you don't believe me, watch. Xiao Wanru leaped into the pool. She yelled help to Fu Yechuan. Without the slightest hesitation, Fu Yechuan jumped into the pool. He rescued the green tea bitch, Xiao Wanru. And 3 years later, Fu Yechuan still jumped in to save her without hesitation. Yechuan, don't blame Sunan. She didn't mean to push me in. I came to apologize, but she wouldn't forgive me. She must still be angry with me. Fu Yechuan looked at Sunan with fury. Sunan met Fu Yechuan's furious gaze and laughed lightly. She's used this trick before. You don't still believe it, do you? Faced with the green tea bitch's cheap frame-up, will Sunan fight back? At the banquet, a woman is framed by a white lotus. Sunan domineeringly tears apart the green tea bitch and crushes the scumbag, putting a final end to her 3-year marriage. Just moments ago, Xiao Wanru staged a scene and jumped into the swimming pool. Fu Yechuan dove in without a second thought to save Xiao Wanru. Xiao Wanru, playing the victim, claimed that Sunan had pushed her in. Fu Yechuan looked at Sunan furiously. Meeting Fu Yechuan's furious gaze, Sunan sneered, she's used this trick before. You don't still believe it, do you? I can't believe your acting is still so cliché copyright. You haven't improved at all. Xiao Wanru got up and grabbed Sunan's wrist. Sunan, I know you don't like me, but every time you donated blood, Yechuan paid you. What else are you dissatisfied with? Why are you still pestering us after the divorce? You came to this banquet by any means necessary because you just won't give up, right? Hearing this, the banquet guests began to gossip, entering full rumor mode. Fu Yechuan frowned. For Xiao Wanru to say that is too rude. Sunan slapped Xiao Wanru's hand away, then immediately slapped her across the face. She grabbed her shoulders and said coldly, Xiao Wanru, if I'm going to be accused of something I didn't do, I might as well do it. Then she forcefully pushed Xiao Wanru into the swimming pool. Now I'll admit to it. Fu Yechuan looked at the once meek, now incredibly domineering Sunan, his expression complicated to, oh right. Miss Xiao, don't be in such a hurry to leave. I have a gift for you. Sunan took a glass of wine from a waiter. She then poured it over Xiao Wanru's head. First, this glass of wine is an extra gift for you. Amidst the murmurs of the surrounding crowd, Sunan turned and left. Fu Yechuan watched the woman leave so coolly, rendered speechless. A cold wind blew, and Xiao Wanru shivered, her miserable state exposed. That white lotus, Sunan. From the moment she appeared, she stole Fu Yechuan's attention, stole all the limelight. Fu Yechuan asked, you fell in by yourself just now, didn't you? Xiao Wanru quickly explained. How could I frame Sunan? You saw it too. She's retaliating against us like a madwoman. Seeing that Fu Yechuan didn't believe her, Xiao Wanru played her old trick, bringing up the CEO's dead comrade in arms, Chunhung. Just as Fu Yechuan was about to take Xiao Wanru back, amidst the gasps of the crowd, he saw Sunan on the second floor of the banquet hall. Sunan was showering cash down Fu Yechuan. This is the payment you gave me for my blood donations over the past 3 years. The payment you gave me every time I donated blood. Now I'm returning it all to you. We owe each other nothing. Fu Yechuan and Xiao Wanru stared at Sunan, their eyes wide with shock. The surrounding guests were joyfully picking up the money. This woman is simply my nemesis. Yechuan, Sunan must be angry with me again. Let's just go. Fu Yechuan pushed Xiao Wanru's hand away. You wait for me at the entrance. Fu Yechuan pushed open the banquet hall door. His eyes fell upon the scene of Su Jin gently massaging Sunan's feet. He shouted angrily, Sunan. Su Jin put his hand on Sunan's shoulder. Vice President Fu isn't comforting his family. You still have the mood to come up here and settle scores. Fu Yechuan saw the hand on Su Nan's shoulder. He couldn't help but frown. Su Nan, if I did something to upset you, you can come settle the score with me. But you should go apologize to Wanru. Su Nan crossed her arms, her tone icy. And if I don't go, are you going to throw me into the water for her? We were husband and wife. I advise you to be a little kinder. Vice President Fu doesn't know me. I was born this vicious. Fu Yechuan gritted his teeth in anger. You're truly impossible. Suit yourself. He had originally wanted to explain his relationship with Qiao Wanru, but now there was no need. Su Jin asked with concern, Little sister, you still like him? Huh? How could I? I won't make the same mistake twice. A woman gives up inheriting a billion-dollar fortune for a man, but after marriage, the man completely ignores her. Instead, he dotes on the White Lotus. The woman's heart turns to ash, and she decides to stop being a simp. She decisively divorces the man and goes home to inherit her billion-dollar fortune, ending a failed 3-year marriage. Just now, when Fu Yechuan was about to find Su Nan to explain his relationship with the White Lotus, seeing that Su Nan was impossible to reason with, he immediately turned and left. He returned to the car with a heavy heart. Qiao Wanru, however, was incessantly explaining what happened at the pool. The red light came on, and the car stopped next to a building in the city center. The sharp-eyed driver spotted the billboard on top. It was repeatedly playing the inside story of what happened between Su Nan and Qiao Wanru at the pool just now. Their conversation and actions were all clearly captured by the surveillance camera. It turned out to be a brilliant scene self-directed by Qiao Wanru. Fu Yechuan clenched his fists, his heart heavy. So this is Su Nan's response to me, and I even told her to apologize. How ridiculous. Fu Yechuan told the driver to pull over. After getting out of the car, Qiao Wanru still tried to explain the surveillance footage to Fu Yechuan. However, the man said with a cold gaze, Tomorrow morning, I'll have someone send you to Country F. Qiao Wanru pleaded bitterly inside the car. Fu Yechuan only felt a chest full of anger with nowhere to vent. After getting out of the car, Fu Yechuan stood alone under the billboard for a long time. If this time was fake, then which time in the past 3 years was real? Suddenly, a beeping sound caught Fu Yechuan's attention. The man was the married playboy, Lu Qi. Brother Chuan, what are you doing here alone? Get in? After Fu Yechuan got in the car, Lu Qi started gossiping. Brother Chuan, what's the deal between Su Nan and Su Jin from Xiqing? They looked much more intimate today than you two ever did. But if you ask me, for someone of her status to marry you, we all felt wronged for you. And today, she dared to target Sister Wanru. It's a good thing you two divorced. Otherwise, the entire Fu family would have been ruined by her. Fu Yechuan was very annoyed, his dark eyes cold and stern. Enough. Stop talking. Lu Qi pouted and snorted coldly. Fine. Anyway, as long as she doesn't come back to harm you, Brother Chuan, it's all good. Fu Yechuan was silent. Lu Qi suggested, Want to go for a drink? Let's go. A few days later, Su Nan was chatting with her eldest brother in a high-end restaurant. Little sister, I'll have you Lu be your secretary. He could be by your side and teach you a bit. You need to catch up on your studies to gain a firm foothold in the company. Isn't you Lu your trusted aide, big brother? Is it okay to lend him to me so easily? Or should I have Dad teach you personally? Su Nan said with a mischievous look. No way. In 2 days, it's the anniversary of the Julie Group. They have a project they're looking to sell. You can give it a try. Okay, I'll definitely fight for it. It's not that simple. Everyone's eyeing this piece of fat meat. I'll be in a meeting abroad then and won't be able to help you. But our third brother should be back by then. Su Nan was very surprised. Third brother is coming back? I'll go pick him up. Suddenly, someone called out from behind. Su Nan turned her head to look and saw it was her former mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Talk about enemies crossing paths. When the former mother-in-law and sister-in-law saw Su Nan in a couture dress at a high-end restaurant, the former mother-in-law arrogantly ordered the manager to sweep trash like her out. How dare a dead-broke bitch eat here? Seeing Su Nan, the sister-in-law wished she could go up and slap her a few times to vent her anger. It was all because of her that the matter of her stealing jewelry became a trending topic, causing her to be mocked by her circle of friends. The manager came over upon hearing the commotion. Fu Yingying pointed at Su Nan. Get her out of here. Her presence is ruining our appetite. We're VIPs. The manager saw Su Jin. He hurried over, bowed respectfully, and greeted him. Mr. Su, you're here. Su Jin nodded in acknowledgement. Fu Yingying's expression changed. Hey, didn't you hear me? Get them out of here. Chu Qing chimed in from the side, looking at Su Nan with disdain. Look at what kind of trash they are, daring to come to a place like this. A woman kicked out by our Fu family. What right does she have to be here? Su Jin sneered, his aura imposing. Kicked out? When did the Fu family become so shameless? Your ability to twist black and white is truly impressive. What kind of life did Su Nan live in the Fu family? Hearing this, Chu Qing was stunned, her face flushing red. Fu Yingying looked at the manager and commanded, "What are you standing there for? I don't want to see them here." The manager's face darkened. Mrs. Fu, Miss Fu, Mr. Su is a major shareholder of our restaurant. If you two don't want to see him, you can leave now. Hearing this, Chu Qing and Fu Yingying's faces stiffened. What did you say? Su Nan smiled, her gaze clear and cold. Manager, forget it. It's just a meal. Why make things so tense? Fu Yingying snorted coldly. At least you have some self-awareness. No matter which powerful person you've latched onto, our Fu family doesn't care. My brother never thought much of you anyway. I can make it so you can't survive in this city in a minute. Su Nan sneered, oh? Then what do you plan to do? Fu Yingying pulled out a chair and sat down. How about this? You pour me a glass of wine and apologize, and I'll let you off the hook just this once. Besides, you often did this kind of serving work at the Fu residence anyway. Su Nan smiled, walked forward, picked up the decanter, and skillfully poured a glass of wine, handing it over. Fu Yingying curled her lip disdainfully. Before her hand could touch the glass, she felt a chill on top of her head. Su Nan poured the wine in her hand over Fu Yingying's head without spilling a drop. Before Fu Yingying could scream, just as she was about to stand up, Su Nan forcefully pressed her shoulder down, making her sit. She spoke coldly in her ear. Miss Fu, please remember, I was the one who filed for divorce. I was the one who didn't want your Fu family anymore. If you dare to be insolent again, I will let you know who exactly can't survive in this city. As Su Nan left, her silhouette was chic and sharp. Fu Yingying's face was pale, and she hadn't yet reacted. Chu Qing was cursing loudly at Su Nan from the side. Su Nan, have you gone mad, you white lotus? How dare you treat Yingying like this? Waiter, hurry up and help. Su Nan walked to her brother's side and said coquettishly, the air here is so dirty. I want to go somewhere else. The manager has already prepared the VIP room. Let's go there. The people around looked at the disheveled Fu Yingying and started whispering. Fu Yingying stomped her foot angrily. Su Nan, I won't let you get away with this. This is the correct way to deal with a scumbag. When Fu Yechuan learned that Su Nan would divorce him, he was filled with regret, not only because of his own reasons, but also because of the long-term bullying from his mother and sister, which he was completely unaware of. Just now, after Fu Yingying had wine poured on her by Su Nan, she was so angry that she went to find her brother to teach Su Nan a lesson. The moment Yingying saw Fu Yechuan, she selectively recounted the incident, omitting the part where she bullied Su Nan and only emphasizing the part where Su Nan bullied her. At this moment, Su Nan and her brother happened to be leaving the restaurant after their meal. The two were walking arm in arm intimately like a loving couple. This reignited Fu Yechuan's jealousy. Faced with Su Nan's disregard, his expression turned icy. He couldn't help but step forward and grab her hand. Su Nan, aren't you going to explain what just happened? Fu Yechuan actually didn't believe that Su Nan was really that bad and would treat his sister this way. After all, she was framed in the Qiao Wanra drowning incident last time. However, Su Nan admitted it directly. Maybe this is also a misunderstanding. Su Nan shook off Fu Yechuan's hand. There's nothing to explain. I was the one who poured red wine on her. What? Does Vice President Fu want to teach me a lesson on his sister's behalf? Fu Yingying fanned the flames from the side. Brother, don't let this white lotus go. She laid a hand on me. Make her pay a price. She then suggested that her brother make Su Nan kneel and apologize to her in public. Huh? Make me kneel and apologize? Is that what Vice President Fu thinks too? Fu Yechuan lowered his head and remained silent. Seeing him like this, Su Nan felt disgusted. Years of grievances welled up in her heart. In the past, whenever his mother and sister ganged up on her, it would always end with her apologizing, turning a big issue into a small one and a small one into nothing. Why should I? I'm not going to indulge their bad habits anymore. Vice President Fu should go check the surveillance footage first and find out what really happened. Miss Fu is no innocent. Little white rabbit. Stop playing the victim. Su Jin supported his sister and turned to say, when Miss Fu bullies others, she should be mentally prepared for retribution. Miss Fu was insolent just now. Shouldn't she also apologize to Sunan? Fu Yingying quickly grabbed her brother's hand, explaining that it was because Sunan had previously smeared her online for stealing Mi Ming, causing her to be laughed at by her friends. She was just so angry that she said a few words to her, and she dared to fight back. Sunan turned back and sneered, not fighting back when being insulted? That was the old Sunan. Miss Fu should learn how to respect others. Otherwise, there will be a next time. It was also the first time Su Jin had seen such a shameless family. But it was a good thing his sister had seen the light and returned to the right path. As he was about to get in the car, he couldn't help but say one more thing to Fu Yechuan. The surveillance footage from a restaurant will be saved forever. Vice President Fu can view it at any time. Goodbye. Watching Su Nan's departing figure, Fu Yechuan's heart felt extremely heavy. Before the divorce, she was always so careful when she spoke to me. Now she's really changed a lot. It's hard to figure her out. Fu Yingying couldn't swallow this insult and fanned the flames next to Fu Yechuan. Brother, Su Nan bullying me is the same as bullying our Fu family. That ungrateful wolf. Has she forgotten who fed and clothed her for the past 3 years? She really needs to be taught a lesson. Fu Yechuan lost his patience and roared, enough. Fu Yingying, the jewelry in the safe was for Su Nan to use. Why did you take it without permission? Brother, I'm your biological sister. It's just one piece of jewelry. Are you really going to hold it against me? Besides, Sunan has no occasions to attend where she would need to wear such expensive jewelry. What's wrong with me taking it? Fu Yingying said with dissatisfaction. How is Su Nan worthy of Mi Ming? Fu Yechuan really wanted to teach her a lesson. But Fu Yingying started crying, acting as if she was the one who was wrong. He didn't even want to talk anymore. Go watch the surveillance footage first. This one sentence made Fu Yingying freeze in her tracks, her tears stopping. She bit her lip resentfully. Brother, don't you believe your own sister? They're clearly framing me. That man next to her is so intimate with her. Maybe she's been cheating on you for a long time. She's probably using your money to support that pretty boy. Fu Yechuan's gaze darkened, his face cold and stern. Enough. He strode away, completely ignoring Fu Yingying. And the restaurant owner, following Su Jin's instructions, had the surveillance video ready. As soon as Fu Yechuan arrived and stated his purpose, the owner handed over the surveillance video. As time passed, Fu Yechuan's face grew darker and uglier. Fu Yingying, standing to the side, became anxious. In the video, Fu Yingying and Chu Qing's insults and curses were terribly nasty. Sunan's expression, however, showed that she was already used to it. Could it be that this wasn't the first time? I never knew any of this. Could it be that when she was with the Fu family, this is how the Fu family members treated Sunan? Sunan's calmness and counterattack shocked both of them. Was this her first time fighting back? Fu Yechuan's heart was in turmoil, his face grim. He slammed the video shut and strode out. Brother, wait for me. Fu Yingying, this isn't the first time you've cursed at her, is it? Fu Yechuan stared intently at his sister. Fu Yingying's face instantly turned deathly pale and ugly. She quickly denied it. What? I was just angry that she found another man right after the divorce. Why would I normally curse at her? Fu Yechuan sneered. He now had some doubts about this sister who had been spoiled and willful since childhood. Go apologize to Sunan. I won't. I'd rather die than apologize to that bitch. Fu Yingying shouted aggrievedly. It was clearly Su Nan who poured wine on her. Why should she be the one to apologize? Fu Yingying tugged on Fu Yechuan's arm. Brother, you have to help me. Is Su Nan using your money to keep a pretty boy now? That man by her side is clearly having an affair with her. Fu Yechuan pulled her hand off, his tone cold as he left her with a sentence and walked away. That man is Su Jin from Xiqing. You can't afford to offend him. Fu Yechuan regretted it. He now suspected that his and Su Nan's divorce wasn't just his own problem. Perhaps the entire Fu family was the problem. Fu Yingying froze. Although she had never met Su Jin in the socialite circle, everyone knew that there was a Su Jin in Xiqing. He was a single, diamond bachelor, mysterious and noble. Countless women racked their brains trying to marry him, and Sunan was with him. Fu Yingying gritted her teeth in anger. Since her brother wouldn't help her, she could only ask someone else for help. She immediately made a phone call. Lu Qi, Sunan bullied me. You have to help me. The sister-in-law not only insulted and cursed her former sister-in-law, she even hired thugs to harass her at a bar and used gossip-loving netizens to cyber-bully her former sister-in-law. Inside the Su Corporation building, Sunan received a call from Du Yin, the CEO of Huaying Entertainment. Miss Su, I have inside information that Fu Yingying has hired someone to secretly film you. Do you need my help to deal with it? Sunan smiled faintly, her lips pursed, her gaze calm. No need. Let them film. It's a good opportunity to ride the wave and save on my publicity fees. After hanging up, Su Jin walked over with a slight frown, his movements pausing. What's wrong? Fu Yingying hired someone to secretly film me. Let her be. Su Jin didn't take it to heart. These little tricks were all within their control. He handed over the fragrant coffee he had just brewed. Sunan took it with a smile and smelled the coffee's aroma. Big Brother's coffee is truly one of a kind. It's better than the world's top baristas. If you open a coffee shop, you definitely make a lot of money. Little sister, besides you, no one can afford the coffee I brew. Big Brother, I'm officially starting my position tomorrow. Can I have Chinyu come be my vice president and help me for a few days? Feel free to arrange it as you see fit. Sunan quickly sent a message to Chinyu, telling her to officially start work tomorrow. Chinyu said they should go celebrate. That night, Sunan and her best friend went to a bar to drink and relax. Little did they know, a thug secretly drugged her best friend's drink. While Sunan was in the restroom, her best friend drank the drugged beverage and became dizzy. The thug took the opportunity to lead the person away to do something else. Seeing this, Sunan angrily confronted the thug. If you don't let go of her with your filthy hands, don't blame me for not being polite. The thug saw that Sunan had an even better figure than her friend and said with a contemptuous tone, "Babe, if you drink this glass of wine, I'll let her go." His words made his intentions clear. You didn't have to think to know the drink was definitely spiked. A young lady next to them grabbed Sunan's arm and kindly reminded her, he's a well-known local gang leader. It's better not to act rashly or you might get hurt. But Sunan patted the young lady's hand and said with a smile, "Thank you, but don't worry." Sunan sneered coldly and walked up to the thug. She raised an eyebrow. "Let her go. I'm here." The man smiled greedily, certain that he was in for a lucky night. Sunan walked to the bar, picked up the glass, and pretended to be about to drink the beverage. Hearing the sound of the thug letting go of her friend and handing her to the young lady, Sunan suddenly grabbed a bottle of red wine by its body and, with a smash, slammed it backwards onto the thug's head. Immediately after, she twisted his arm, pinning him to the ground. With a crack, she dislocated the thug's arm. He fell to the ground, screaming in agony. I haven't fought in 3 years. Luckily, my basic skills are still there. You're unlucky to have run into me today. Sunan picked up the spiked drink from the table. She held it next to the thug. Are you going to drink it yourself? Or should I help you? The thug immediately begged for mercy. Sunan completely ignored his pleas, reached out, grabbed his hair, and said, "I'll help you." After saying that, she forced the spiked red wine into the man's mouth. Sunan clapped her hands and stood up. Running into scum like you today really ruined my mood. After handling the matter, Sunan walked over to the young lady and thanked her for helping take care of her best friend. Everyone was stunned, thinking she was a rookie, but she turned out to be a king. However, just as Sunan was helping her friend leave, a paparazzi hiding in the crowd recorded the entire incident. He secretly called Lu Chi. "Mr. Lu, I've got explosive footage of Sunan getting into a fight at a bar. If I post this video online, I guarantee it will completely ruin her image." Lu Chi smiled smugly. "Post it. I didn't expect Sunan to show her true colors in less than a day. This woman, I thought she had some reason to be so arrogant. Ungrateful after leaving the Fu family. Bullying Yingying, betraying Yechuan. This woman's true face is truly despicable. It's time to teach Sunan a lesson. My man's friend is a real dog. Not only is he a cheater himself, but he also encourages his friend to cheat. He even hired thugs to drug her at a bar with ill intentions, and secretly filmed and maliciously edited the video to post online, using the power of netizens to cyberbully her. After seeing the video, her best friend, Chinyu, flew into a rage. "Sunan, that's it, you're being flamed. They took the video of you tearing apart that pervert last night, cut out the beginning and end, and deliberately edited it maliciously to guide netizens to cyberbully Sunan." Looking at the comments under the video, they were all about the downfall of Sunan, the former wife of a wealthy family. Clubbing late at night, Sunan gets into a fight. What a ruthless ex-wife. Such words pushed her to the top of the trending list. Sunan looked indifferent. "If I don't look, I won't get angry. Let's get ready for work." But Chinyu was angry for her. Although she was drunk last night, she was still conscious. "Sunan fought clearly for my sake. No, I can't let this go so easily. Since things have come to this, I should be the one to handle it. As soon as she stepped out, she saw the butler coming to greet them. Today was Sunan's first day back at the Sue Corporation. She hadn't made her identity public, so the butler had specially prepared a Rolls-Royce for her. Sunan said it wasn't necessary. I'll drive to work. The chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce is too conspicuous. The butler then took out other car keys. Miss, the master specially selected the latest models from Maserati and Porsche. They're all in your garage. The few Lamborghinis and Ferraris ordered from abroad haven't arrived yet. They'll be here in a few days. Please make do for now. Chin-Yu's eyes widened as she secretly clicked her tongue. Uncle Sue really dotes on Sunan, calling cars worth millions and tens of millions making do. The little sports car she drove here probably wasn't even enough to buy a tire from any car in this garage. Sunan sighed helplessly. I'm going to work as an ordinary person. I can't be too high profile. I don't want any of these. I'll just go with Chin-Yu. The butler hesitated for a moment, then bowed slightly to Chin-Yu. Then I'll have to trouble you, Miss Chin. Chin-Yu smiled. Leave it to me. It's my honor to be Sunan's driver. Once at the company, Soo-jin held a meeting to formally introduce Sunan's appointment. The position of director, which had been parachuted in, had been vacant for a long time and was coveted by many. Now it was taken by Sunan. Before the meeting was even over, people began to investigate Sunan's background and connections. But apart from Sunan being Fu Yechuan's ex-wife, her family background was a complete blank. A woman who was originally confident of winning, Ling Shuang, had been eyeing this position for a long time. Why should it be taken by someone with no ability? She raised her hand and immediately voiced her objection. May I ask what skills Miss Sue has? After being a daughter-in-law of a wealthy family for 3 years, she can just come out and be competent for this job? She stood up and said, I disagree. I will not stay in the same company with someone like Miss Sue. Soo-jin raised his hand and adjusted his glasses. His voice was indifferent and ruthless. Anyone who doesn't want to stay can submit their resignation. It will be approved. In an instant, the meeting fell into a stiff, dead silence. Ling Shuang's face was ugly and awkward, unable to back down. She had been in the company for so many years and had worked hard to get to her position. She didn't want to leave. And Soo-jin, for the sake of a newcomer, Sunan, had slapped her in the face without a care. The meeting room was silent, and everyone looked at each other. Sunan frowned slightly. She didn't want to become the center of attention as soon as she arrived. Just as she was about to speak to give Ling Shuang a way out, she was interrupted by Ling Shuang. Mistetsu, Imsari. I was too impulsive just now. I respect the company's decision and will cooperate well with Miss Sue's work. That's good. Meeting adjourned. Soo-jin didn't say much more, not wasting a single minute, and left the meeting room with an imposing aura. Ling Shuang was left with a gloomy face. She was publicly humiliated today, all because of this inexplicable Sunan. Sunan, I'll remember you. The scumbag's brother is a real dog. Not only did he slander his brother's wife in front of him, he even hired people to maliciously edit a video and post it online for cyberbullying. Inside the Sue Corporation, her best friend came to Sunan's office, excitedly holding up her phone. My dear, I'm here to claim my credit. She placed the phone on Sunan's desk. Ahem, please enjoy. It turned out that her best friend had retrieved all the surveillance footage from the bar that day and directly revealed the whole story. The gossip-loving netizens' opinion of Sue then took a 360-degree turn. They all praised Sue Nan's behavior of furiously beating up the thug for her best friend, calling it incredibly magnanimous. Sue Nan is my goddess now. Let her debut as a celebrity. Cool and heroic big sister. I want her contact information in 3 minutes. Her best friend looked indignant. I won't allow anyone to slander you, especially not in front of me. Sunan patted her head dotingly. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal anyway. Then do you know who was behind it? Sunan shook her head, looking puzzled. I don't know. It was Fu Yechuan's good brother, Lu Qi. Sunan was stunned. It's just as I guessed. Whether it's Fu Yingying or Lu Qi, they are all people related to Fu Yechuan. Since he came knocking on my door, I have to return the favor properly. This is the Su Nan I know. An eye for an eye. No need to trouble yourself. I've already prepared everything. Let them know their place. Yu had already compiled all of Lu Qi's dirt and sent it all to Sunan. Sunan chose a photo from the collection. It was a moment of Lu Qi at some party, wearing a swimsuit and with an arm around a woman on each side. And at that time, he had just gotten married. The caption read, "If you want to deal with me, bring it on. At least I'm more upfront than you are. I don't hire paparazzi for secret filming and editing. I hope Mr. Liu will behave himself." Sunan posted it using a newly registered account. Soon, countless verified accounts began to forward and comment. The tide began to turn. Countless people started flocking online to get in on the gossip. Few people knew about Sunan's new account, but because of this, the number of followers on the new account skyrocketed. Lu Qi's background was also thoroughly exposed. Fu Corporation. Lu Qi, swamped with lawsuits, ran to Fu Yechuan's office. "Brother Chuan, that ex-wife of yours is trying to kill me." Fu Yechuan looked up from his documents and glanced at him faintly. Lu Qi showed him the netizens' curses online. He was furious. "She actually got netizens to cyberbully me. This is too much. This must be her true face, right? This woman is really no good. Now my wife is at home demanding a divorce. You have to help me, brother." Fu Yechuan frowned, his eyes slightly dark as he scrolled through the comments on his phone. After a long while, his voice was cold and stern. "You planned to cyberbully her, but you got counterattacked instead." Lu Qi shivered. He hurriedly explained, "I just wanted to teach him a lesson. Besides, I didn't know the video was edited. The paparazzi really screwed me over to cheat me out of my money." Fu Yechuan tossed the phone onto the table in front of him, his expression slightly cold. "Serves you right. Brother, you have to help me. I was set up by the paparazzi too. But Ying was the one who asked me to do this. If I weren't taking the fall, the people online would be cursing Ying." Fu Yechuan's expression grew even colder. He recalled what happened at the restaurant last time. He didn't expect this sister of his to have learned nothing. Lu Qi pleaded for help with a miserable look on his face. "My wife wants to divorce me over this." Fu Yechuan glanced up at him. "Lu Qi, solve it yourself. You brought this on yourself. I advise you to go to the person you provoked. Find Sunan." Lu Qi subconsciously resisted. Why should he bow his head to such a hypocritical woman? Fu Yechuan had no desire to say more. His secretary came in to announce that it was time for a meeting. Fu Yechuan stood up and walked out. Having been snubbed, Lu Qi left dejected. He didn't even dare to go online to read the netizens' comments. The phone at home was ringing one call after another, almost blowing up. Since Sunan dared to call him out by name, she must have other evidence in her hands. He had to resolve this matter as soon as possible. But making Lu Qi apologize to Sunan in person was more painful than being whipped. Still, he had no choice. If he didn't compromise, he was afraid he'd be kicked out of his home. After some thought, Lu Qi had someone from his company post an update on his social media account. "I was not aware of the video editing. I sincerely apologize for the trouble caused to Miss Su. Su Corporation." Yu walked into Sunan's office with a smile, waving her phone. This young master Lu didn't even last 2 hours before raising the white flag. "I thought he was some tough nut to crack. Turns out he's so useless." Her best friend took Sunan to a bar to have fun, but they ran into her ex-husband and his buddies. Enemies really do have a narrow road. Lu Qi rubbed his eyes in disbelief. "Damn it, how can I run into this woman wherever I go?" Yechuan followed Lu Qi's gaze, and his eyes immediately focused. Sunan was wearing a couture long dress that accentuated her slender waist. She looked tall and gorgeous. With her hair in a high ponytail, she had a cool and stunning aura. Yu sneered and spoke up, "TSK. What bad luck. Young Master Lu, are you done putting out the fire in your own backyard? And you're still in a mood to come out for a drink?" It seems the impact of that photo was too small. Lu Qi, not to be outdone, glared at Sunan, the culprit behind him. He said sarcastically, "I underestimated Miss Su. I never expected Miss Su to be a completely different person from before. I guess having a backer really makes a difference." Yu retorted irritably. She was miserable relying on her husband for 3 years. After the divorce, of course, she has to rely on her friends. Didn't young Master Lu also go looking for his friends the moment trouble started? Yu pulled Sunan and turned to leave. "Don't waste your breath on them. Let's go." Fu Yechuan was also very surprised to see Sunan. He thought to himself, "This time, I must clear up all the previous misunderstandings." Arriving at the bar, Cheng Yi and Ning Zhuliao raised their glasses to welcome Sunan's return. "I managed to get your favorite band, the Lunatics, here today." Ning Zhuliao also said that in a few days, I've arranged a grand finale show. You should bring your third brother along. I've saved good seats for you. Sunan, a little tipsy from drinking, said okay. "Thank you, everyone." Just then, Lu Qi and Fu Yechuan came in, greeting Chung Yi. Second young Master Chung. Chung Yi raised his glass in acknowledgement. What a coincidence, young Master Lu. Lu Qi saw that Su Nan, Qin Yu, and their friends were sitting with Chung Yi and realized they had come together. Let's hang out together. You don't mind, do you? Second young Master Chung Yi didn't answer. He turned his head to look at Su Nan. My queen, do you mind? Su Nan stood up indifferently. As you wish. I'm going downstairs to watch the band. Qin Yu immediately stood up to follow Su Nan. Let's go, let's go. The air up here is foul. Some people just won't go away. Ning Zhiliao went with him as well. Fu Yechuan watched Su Nan's figure disappear before retracting his gaze. He glanced at Chung Yi and asked, what is the relationship between Su Nan and second young Master Chung? Chung Yi tilted his head and let out a cold laugh. Friends, Lu Qi chimed in. How can someone like her become friends with second young Master Chung? Don't let her fool you. Before Lu Qi could finish speaking, he was cut off by Fu Yechuan. Chung Yi's gaze turned somewhat cold as he looked at Lu Qi. What kind of person is she? Does young Master Lu know her well? Lu Qi was rebuked into silence. Even Fu Yechuan wasn't helping him. He felt a little frustrated. He couldn't very well tell Chung Yi about Su Nan's despicable deeds behind her back. Bang! The roaring music from downstairs suddenly erupted, igniting the most intense atmosphere of the entire evening. A familiar melody followed. The Lunatics band was making a comeback after 3 years, instantly igniting the fervent passion of everyone present. People were cheering and swaying. Looking up at the people on stage, Qin Yu screamed from below, shouting at the top of her lungs. She didn't notice Ning Zhiliao leading Su Nan backstage. Holding a violin, Ning Zhiliao said to Su Nan, Lao Mo had surgery for appendicitis and couldn't come. The finale is missing its soul without the violin. Su Nan, you should go on. Su Nan was shocked. But only you have collaborated with them. They came here for you. Don't you want to recapture that old feeling of passion and excitement? Su Nan smiled and agreed. She was supposed to be dazzling, to be her own queen. Yet, because she was blinded by love, she married a man who didn't love her and gave up inheriting a fortune worth billions. She was a devoted admirer for 3 years. The 3-year marriage brought the woman endless pain. In the end, the woman decisively broke free from her love-struck mindset and chose to divorce. The returned Su Nan blazed a trail, tearing down the scheming woman and crushing the scumbag to be her own queen. On stage, Su Nan walked up, holding a violin in her left hand and the flowing hem of her dress in her right. The lights dimmed in an instant, leaving only a single spotlight on the stage. And in the next second, the unique, mellow sound of the violin seamlessly took over. The drums suddenly vanished, and the violin sound became bold and rich, resonant and deep. Everyone stared in shock at the woman on stage. She was composed and indifferent, exuding a powerful aura. The violin in her hands was played with masterful skill. The pitch was flawless, yet it was exceptionally suited to her own distinct style. When the performance ended, the crowd's screams became even more frenzied, deafening. Goddess! Goddess! On the second floor, the shock that flashed through Fu Yechuan's eyes was unconcealed. He never expected that Su Nan could play the violin. Lu Qi exclaimed in disbelief. Didn't the Lunatics retire? How are they here? I heard a show in the industry tried to book them, offering an 8-figure appearance fee, and couldn't get them. And they actually came to this bar. Lu Qi saw Su Nan's performance. His jaw dropped as well. No way, is that really Su Nan? After the performance, Su Nan showed a nervous expression. Thankfully, I haven't forgotten the fundamentals. I hope the performance was satisfactory. Lao Yao patted Su Nan's shoulder. I'm so happy today. You were the original arranger for this song. Besides Lao Mo, only you can cooperate with us so perfectly. Qin Yu came over holding a bouquet of flowers for Su Nan. Su Nan, you were amazing. You're practically my goddess. You have no idea how excited everyone in the audience was. They were all praising how exceptionally you played the violin. Lao Yao also spoke up. Little sister Su Nan, I feel like I saw the you from 3 years ago. Hearing this, Su Nan felt a pang of bitterness in her heart. For a man who didn't love her, she had been a devoted admirer for 3 years. In those 3 years, she had missed out on so many of life's wonderful moments. Fortunately, it wasn't too late to turn back now. Let's go. Let's head back. Fu Yechuan and his group should have left by now. Arriving on the second floor, Lu Qi's face was dark as he greeted them. Qin Yu gave a cold snort of dissatisfaction. Why haven't they left yet? She then pulled Su Nan to sit on the other side of Chang Yi. Lu Qi couldn't help but ask, I never expected Su Nan could play the violin. How come I've never heard of it? He was genuinely stunned tonight. That moment on stage, Su Nan was like a cool, powerful queen in command of the entire venue. Qin Yu retorted with a sneer. Do I need to tell you? Who do you think you are? Lu Qi knew he would be rebuffed and shrugged nonchalantly. Weren't we going to play something? How about we play dice together? Who wants to play with you? Qin Yu snorted coldly, defending Su Nan. Scumbags are no good. Fu Yechuan raised his eyes to look at Su Nan. She sat there, swirling the wine glass in her hand. She was so radiant. Fu Yechuan looked at the Su Nan before him, familiar yet strange. His feelings were incredibly complex. It was clearly her, yet a version of her he had never seen before. This is the correct way to treat a scumbag. Fu Yechuan asked Su Nan if she dared to play a game of dice with him. Su Nan nonchalantly glanced up at Fu Yechuan. A faint smile touched her lips. What is there to be afraid of? Qin Yu protested in dissatisfaction. Why play with him? He's just using reverse psychology. Ning Zhiliao, however, pulled Qin Yu aside. Don't worry, Su Nan has it under control. Lu Qi stood to the side, looking as if victory was already in his grasp. Fu Yechuan is the best among us. Su Nan is bound to lose this time. Su Nan looked down and spoke. What are the stakes? It's no fun without stakes. Fu Yechuan's eyes gleamed. Staring at her calm profile, he said, you decide. Before Su Nan could speak, Lu Qi excitedly cut in. If Yechuan loses, I'll strip naked and walk out of here. But if you lose, Su Nan... Suddenly, Lu Qi said with disdain, you have to admit in public that you married into a rich family for money, and you're forbidden from ever appearing in our circle again. Su Nan, do you dare? Su Nan let out a disdainful snort. Fine, I agree. Fu Yechuan gestured with his hand and said, ladies first. Su Nan didn't stand on ceremony. She picked up the dice cup, gave it a few shakes on the table as if just playing around, and then pressed it down with the back of her hand. She looked at her opponent impassively. Your turn. Fu Yechuan looked at Su Nan with a deep, meaningful gaze, his brow furrowed. It was obvious Su Nan wasn't taking this bet to heart. Does she really not care about winning or losing? Lu Qi looked on as if watching a good show, growing more and more excited, as if victory was already in his grasp. This Su Nan is just a paper tiger. Her movements just now weren't professional at all. Does she even know how to play dice? Thinking she can win with just a couple of shakes? Brother Chuan is unbeatable at dice, even with his eyes closed. Back in the day, he won his first pot of gold in a Macau casino. Su Nan is bound to lose. Fu Yechuan, after a moment of thought, casually lifted the cup in his hand. For SIXS, he was secretly delighted. He had won, without a doubt. He glanced at Su Nan. The expression on her face remained unchanged. Lu Qi was so excited he almost jumped up. That's Yechuan's usual level. I was worried you'd go soft on her. Chang Yi clapped from his side. As expected, he gave a faint, detached smile. Young Master Lu, you're quite the joker. The vice president has never gone soft on our Su Nan, but we have certainly witnessed the vice president's skills. Lu Qi looked smug. Don't give me that flattery. What? Are you trying to back out of it? Su Nan, let us see your result. You're not a sore loser, are you? Qin Yu couldn't help but curse at Lu Qi. Can a dog's mouth spit out ivory? If you don't know how to talk, then shut up. Su Nan let out a light laugh. Her slender fingers tapped the cup lightly twice. Then she casually knocked the cup over. Qin Yu had a look of utter disbelief on her face. And the moment Lu Qi saw Su Nan's dice, he felt like he could just die. 4 SIXS and a 1. This is impossible. And what's more, this woman just made a couple of feints on the table and managed to shake out an extra one. Before anyone could even gasp, Su Nan picked up her bag and stood up. I'm going to say my goodbyes and head home. You all carry on playing. Fu Yechuan watched Su Nan win and felt a sense of relief in his heart. Qin Yu slammed the table gleefully, looking triumphant. Young Master Lu, don't forget to strip naked before you leave. You said it yourself. Don't be a sore loser. You cheated. Lu Qi's face turned the color of a pig's liver from holding back his anger. Cheated? Young Master Lu, you were the ones who insisted on playing. Those are the rules of the game. Crying foul when you lose. If you knew you couldn't afford to lose, you shouldn't have played. Qin Yu sneered and turned directly to Fu Yechuan. Vice President, what do you say? Fu Yechuan was also at a loss for words. Lu Qi looked at his good brother as if begging for rescue. His big, innocent eyes were filled with two large words, "Save me." Fu Yechuan's face was calm, unmoved. A loss is a loss. Fu Yechuan got up and left, leaving a stunned Lu Qi to face a pack of wolves and tigers. So much for brotherhood. He looked at the people before him, wanting to cry, but having no tears. Biting his lower lip, he spoke without a shred of dignity. "Can you let me off this one time?" The people in front of him replied in unison, "No." "Look, this man is running out of the bar naked." It turns out Fu Yechuan and Su Nin made a bet playing dice, and Fu Yechuan lost. Just a moment ago, Su Nin had come out of the bar and sent a text to her eldest brother. His driver should be arriving soon. Suddenly, someone from behind called out, "Su Nin." Su Nin turned to look. A tall, shadowy figure was standing to the side. Su Nin was slightly taken aback, then immediately put on a distant and guarded expression. Noticing her change, Fu Yechuan's gaze also shifted slightly. Su Nin took a step back and said, "Is there something, Vice President Fu?" Fu Yechuan twitched the corner of his mouth, then resolutely stepped forward, staring at her intently. "Regarding the incident at the restaurant, Ying was the one who provoked you first. I will have her come and apologize to you." Su Nin lowered her gaze, a hint of sarcasm buried in her eyes. "No need. Just manage your own family members well." In her heart, she thought, that's hardly the only thing an apology is owed for. "But I don't care for it anymore." Fu Yechuan frowned slightly and was about to say something else when he heard a frantic scream from the entrance. Looking over, he saw a naked Lu Qi covering his chest with his hands, running out quickly from inside. His voice was broken, full of humiliation and despair. "I will not let this go." Just as he reached them, a camera flash went off. The naked man froze in his tracks, stopping in shock beside Fu Yechuan and Su Nin, who was next to him. His face was a mixture of shame and anger. With a trembling arm, he pointed at Su Nin, wanting to cry, but having no tears. You actually took a picture." Su Nin looked at the photo on her phone with satisfaction. The angle of the candid shot was excellent, simply perfect. She curled her lips slightly and gave Lu Qi a provocative look. "It would be a shame not to capture such a spectacular scene. I even waited here for you on purpose." Lu Qi was so angry he was speechless, hugging his chest with both arms. Su Nin's gaze turned cold. "If you dare to provoke me again, I'll send this photo for the whole world to see." Does he think she's still that stupid woman from 3 years ago? Fu Yechuan watched Su Nin's departing figure, his feelings very complicated. Just now, when faced with a naked, streaking Lu Qi, she had threatened and mocked him without batting an eye, showing no signs of modesty. He felt a little strange inside, but looking back on tonight, from the violin on stage to the dice game, the once honest and dull Su Nin, whom he could see through at a glance, had suddenly become as if she had a different soul. Every move she made was a mystery, shrouded in mist, making her increasingly difficult to see clearly. Fu Yechuan felt a sense of irritation growing in his heart. As Fu Yechuan and Lu Qi were about to get in the car, Cheng Yi stepped forward and called out, "Vice President. Vice President, you didn't expect Su Nin to win, did you?" Fu Yechuan replied faintly, "It was indeed very surprising." Cheng Yi gave a cold snort. 3 years of marriage, and you still don't know a person. It seems Su Nin really is worthless in the vice president's eyes. Cheng Yi raised an eyebrow and sneered. "But there's no need to get to know her in the future, because among us," he gave a thumbs up, "Su Nin is the most formidable." Fu Yechuan's sharp eyes narrowed. "President Cheng, you haven't taken a liking to that woman, have you?" Cheng Yi laughed out loud, meeting his gaze frankly. "Yes, I'm going to pursue her, and I have to thank the vice president for letting her go, which gave me this opportunity." Fu Yechuan coldly withdrew his gaze and looked at Cheng Yi, his face expressionless. In the car, Lu Qi couldn't help but complain. "Why waste so many words on him? Brother Chuan, hurry up and get in. I really fell into your ex-wife's hands today." He stepped on the accelerator, and the car sped away. On the other side, Qin Yu walked over triumphantly. Now that Lu Qi will be more honest. He really is someone who won't shed a tear until he sees his own coffin. Ning Zhiliao nodded. If we didn't teach him a lesson, he'd really think Su Nin is a pushover. Qin Yu was stunned for a moment. But how does Su Nin know how to play dice? And she's so good at it. Ning Zhiliao and Cheng Yi exchanged a look, smiled, and explained when she was studying at university in Country F, she once had a fight with her family and her income was cut off. As a result, she was tricked into working as a dealer at the biggest underground casino. Unexpectedly, she learned the skills involved and made a fortune. When Chairman Su found out, he was so scared he immediately made her leave that place. He also gave her a black card with no credit limit. Chin Yu's eyes widened, regretting that she hadn't been classmates with Su Nan. The stern brother panicked. His once honest and dull wife, after their divorce, had not only become dazzling, but another man was also declaring his intention to pursue her right in front of him. Fu Yechuan was driving distractedly. He thought of the scene where Cheng Yi declared he would pursue Su Nan. Cheng Yi is interested in Su Nan. And Su Nan? Does she like Cheng Yi too? At this thought, Fu Yechuan couldn't help but frown and grip the steering wheel tightly. Lu Qi looked at Fu Yechuan's sudden change of expression in shock and asked, "Are you angry?" Fu Yechuan didn't want to bother with Lu Qi. "Shouldn't you be more concerned about the photo?" Damn it, Lu Qi cursed under his breath. This was the first time he had been defeated by the same woman. Brother Chuan, you could have married anyone. There are plenty of women from families of equal status. Why her of all people? I really don't know what you were thinking, Lu Qi muttered. All the brothers felt it was unfair to you. It's a good thing we never treated her as one of our own. Hearing this, the car screeched to a sudden halt. Fu Yechuan's expression turned somewhat ugly. His chest suddenly felt tight and uncomfortable. No one treated her as one of their own. Was he the same? Fu Yechuan's voice was icy as he yelled, "Get out of the car." Lu Qi looked at him in surprise. Why? Fu Yechuan's face was inexplicably dark. "I'm going to the company. It's not on the way." Lu Qi had no choice but to get out of the car. Standing in the cold wind, he watched the car drive further and further away. He suddenly recalled that the direction didn't seem to be the way to the Fu Corporation. Su Corporation building. Beside her, Yulu reported to Su Nan. "Vice President Su, Ling Shuang arrived early this morning. She's waiting for you in your office." Su Nan nodded. "Is there any news on the Julie group I asked you to investigate? The person in charge, Manager Lin, has proposed inviting you to dinner to discuss in person. Arrange a time for me." Su Nan pushed the door open to see Ling Shuang sitting in Su Nan's chair, spinning it around and enjoying herself leisurely. In an instant, the atmosphere in the office became tense. Yulu gave a light cough. Ling Shuang's expression changed. She quickly stood up and looked reproachfully at Yulu, who was behind Su Nan. "Why didn't you announce Vice President Su's arrival?" Su Nan smiled nonchalantly. "Since Manager Ling likes this chair, Yulu, have it sent to Manager Ling's office in a bit. Vice President Su, I didn't mean anything else. There's no need to specially send the chair to me." Su Nan sat on the sofa to the side, her expression cold. "I have mysophobia. I won't use a chair that someone else has sat in." Having been rebuffed, Ling Shuang glared at her fiercely. In her heart, she had already cursed Su Nan 1,000 times over. She just slept her way to the top. What's there to be so proud of? Su Nan glanced at her. "Manager Ling, is there something you need?" Ling Shuang handed a file to Su Nan. "It's the collaboration project with Fengheng Group. Tonight, Chairman Zhang of Fengheng Group is hosting a dinner. Vice President Su, you must seize this opportunity. I will introduce you tonight." Su Nan flipped through a couple of pages of the file. She didn't believe for a second that Ling Shuang would be so kind as to share such a big piece of the pie with her. However, since she was being so proactive, Su Nan felt it would be impolite not to play along. "I understand. You may go out first." Su Nan handed the file to Yulu, increased the percentage points on this by 30. Yulu took it without a second thought. "Okay, I'll get it done." Just then, Chinyu pushed the door open, holding a large bouquet of flowers. "Quick, Su Nan, this is killing me. Help me take this." Su Nan was a bit surprised. "So many flowers. What's this for?" Chinyu raised her eyebrows with a mischievous smile. "Of course, they're flowers sent by someone who's pursuing you." Su Nan looked like she had a headache. "Chinyu, who on earth is so bored?" "It's Cheng Yi, of course. He specifically asked me to deliver them to you by hand." Su Nan helplessly asked Secretary Yu to take them out. "I can't stand such a strong floral scent." Su Nan attends the treacherous banquet alone. What will happen? Her best friend leaned close to Su Nan's ear and whispered, "I've finished investigating the Fengheng Group you asked me to look into." Su Nan looked up at her. Fengheng Group has long been a shell company. They're borrowing money from everywhere and owe the bank a huge sum that they can't repay. The company is even about to be auctioned off. All they have left is a pile of unfinished projects. Whoever touches it will be in a mess. That Ling Shuang is clearly trying to set you up. Su Nan raised her eyebrows. As expected, so she dug a pit for me to jump into. In that case, tonight's dinner will be particularly interesting. Thanks. Chinyu smiled mischievously. "It's nothing, but I can't accompany you at work anymore. My mom just acquired a cosmetics company and promised to let me participate in the research and development. You know this has always been my dream." Su Nan held Qin Yu's hand, and the two of them were overjoyed. Good. Then I wish our Miss Qin a triumphant victory. In the evening, Su Nan planned to tell Yu Lu about the dinner engagement. But Ling Shuang came in, swaying her hips. Since it's a private dinner, you shouldn't bring an assistant or secretary. If we upset Chairman Zhang, our project will be ruined. Su Nan raised an eyebrow. I understand. Arriving at the private clubhouse, Ling Shuang opened the reserved private room, and Chairman Zhang came forward to welcome them. Ling Shuang skillfully gave the pot-bellied Yu Nainan an intimate cheek-to-cheek kiss. Su Nan felt a wave of nausea in her stomach. Out of politeness, she still walked over gracefully to greet him. When that Chairman Zhang saw Su Nan's face, his eyes clearly lit up. His greedy gaze was unconcealed and nauseating. Ling Shuang began to introduce Su Nan. Chairman Zhang, this is our company's Vice President Su. Yu Nainan said, I've long heard your great name. You're just as beautiful as the legends say. You're too kind, Chairman Zhang. Your name is the one that's truly renowned. Ling Shuang gave Su Nan a meaningful look. Vice President Su just joined the Su Corporation, so she might not be aware. We in Fengheng Group are old friends. There won't be any problems with our cooperation. Why don't you take out the contract for Chairman Zhang to look at? If there are no issues, let's just sign it. Su Nan paused for a moment and raised her eyebrows. Fine, I'll take out the prepared contract. Chairman Zhang, you'd better look carefully. The greasy man opposite her took it, acting as if he already knew the contents of the contract. He scanned it casually, only pausing slightly at the numbers. His expression instantly darkened. Vice President Su, the percentage on this, why is it 30 points higher than what we agreed on? As soon as Ling Shuang took it and looked, her expression changed drastically. Who changed this? Su Nan looked down and smiled. I did. Since I'm the one negotiating this project, of course I have the final say. We'll go with this percentage. Otherwise, the deal is off. Everyone knew in their hearts that if the percentage was increased by 30 points, Fengheng's initial investment would increase by tens of millions. For a teetering shell company, it was impossible to come up with that kind of money. Ling Shuang's face was ashen with anger. Su Nan, this was all decided before. On what grounds can you just change it? On the grounds that I'm Vice President Su, Manager Ling. I'm fighting for the company's greatest benefit. Why are you angry? You should be happy. You should be on the same side as me. Su Nan looked at her with an ambiguous expression. Whose side are you on exactly? As soon as she heard this, Ling Shuang's expression soured. I am of course on the Su Corporation side. But Su Nan, business is about integrity. We already agreed on the terms. They can't be changed. As long as nothing is signed, anything can be changed. Su Nan looked playfully at the furious Chairman Zhang. Or should I say, have Chairman Zhang and Manager Ling reached some sort of private agreement? Upon hearing this, the two of them in the room fell silent for a moment. Chairman Zhang suddenly revealed a profound smile. Since Miss Su is here to negotiate, I also came with sincerity. The points set in this new contract are 10 points lower than what Ling Shuang said. As long as you sign it, the earnings from these extra 10 points will all be yours. Ling Shuang rolled her eyes and quickly tried to persuade her. Su Nan, what's the use of relying only on Su Jin? You should find a few more backers. Su Jin clearly wants to harm you. That's why he put you in this position and then ignores you. What's the benefit of being with him? It's not like he can marry you and make you his wife. Look at your clothes. They don't even have a brand name. You bought them online, didn't you? How do you commute? By taxi? Su Nan was in no mood to listen to Ling Shuang's attempts to sow discord. She probably thinks that my big brother and I are lovers and is trying to poach me. Ling Shuang smugly looked down on Su Nan's shabbiness. She tugged at her Chanel gown, twisting her lips into a smile. I'm experienced in these matters. I wouldn't lie to you. You won't lose out by being with Chairman Zhang. Chairman Zhang has prepared a second handoutie for you. In the future, with Chairman Zhang's help on projects, you'll be able to secure your position. Seeing Su Nan quietly pondering, Ling Shuang thought she had persuaded her. She shot a satisfied glance at Chairman Zhang. Then, pretending to be unable to hold her liquor, she stood up. I'm going to the restroom. You two chat first. As soon as Ling Shuang stepped out, a sharp glint flashed in her eyes. Let's see how you can keep up the act after drinking the drug wine. At the restroom door, she saw a familiar person acting furtively. Have you done what I told you to do? The waiter said, trembling. The drug has already been put in the wine. That's good. Ling Shuang curled her lips in satisfaction. The waiter bit his lower lip. Miss Ling, if I'm not mistaken, that lady is President Fu Yechuan's ex-wife, right? Little did they know, this scene was overheard by Fu Yechuan, who was just coming out of the restroom. Ling Shuang snorted coldly. You're not wrong. It's Vice President Fu's ex-wife. How dare Chairman Zhang? The waiter didn't dare to speak plainly, but he was afraid of getting into trouble. He truly regretted it to death. She's just an ex-wife. She's now climbing the ladder by relying on other men. Would Fu Yechuan even give her a second glance? It's all about sleeping with someone anyway. What's the difference who she sleeps with? Is sleeping with Chairman Zhang not okay? Fu Yechuan walked out of the restroom with a frown and a grim face. Ling Shuang warned the waiter in a low voice, "If this gets out, you'll be sorry." When the ex-husband heard someone had drugged his ex-wife's wine, he was furious. With a grim expression, Fu Yechuan grabbed the waiter. "Which room is Su Nan in?" The waiter recognized Fu Yechuan at a glance. His face turned pale with fright. Vice President. Fu Yechuan said coldly, "Speak." The waiter felt the oppressive aura of the domineering CEO. He subconsciously blurted out, in private room 3888. Chairman Zhang laughed sleazily and disgustingly. He reached out to touch Su Nan's hand on the table. Su Nan dodged the old man's hand. The old man took a slightly used car key from his bag and threw it on the table. "Miss Su, this car is yours." Su Nan stared at the car key for a while, then suddenly laughed coldly. "Chairman Zhang, Ling Shuang gets more than me, right?" Chairman Zhang gave her a greasy once-over. "Miss Su is so beautiful. How can Ling Shuang compare to you? Once this collaboration is complete, there will be even more benefits waiting for you." Su Nan scoffed coldly. She thought to herself, so this is how Ling Shuang got to where she is today, by taking kickbacks. Very good, I'll deal with her at the same time. The old man impatiently raised his glass. Gulme, let's have a drink to celebrate." The next second, Su Nan knocked her phone, which was on the table, to the ground. Chairman Zhang bent down to pick it up as if presenting a treasure. Su Nan deftly swapped the two wine glasses. When Chairman Zhang picked up the phone, Su Nan raised her glass with a grin and said, "Cheers." Then the two clinked glasses. "Here's to our happy collaboration." After downing his drink in one gulp, Chairman Zhang looked at Su Nan. Su Nan took a sip, smiling as she swirled the wine in her glass. "This wine is not bad." Chairman Zhang, having drunk the drugged wine, was already starting to flush. "Miss Su, as long as this works out, I'll give you a new Mondeo." Just then, the door was kicked open with a bang by Fu Yechuan. Su Nan, Fu Yechuan sent Chairman Zhang flying to the ground with a single kick. Su Nan was very surprised to see Fu Yechuan. "Why was he here?" Fu Yechuan asked Su Nan with a grim tone. "This wine is drugged. Did you drink it?" Hearing Fu Yechuan's concern for her, Su Nan was startled for a moment before regaining her composure. She thought this must be a coincidence. It can't be that he's been watching me all this time, waiting to play the hero, saving the damsel in distress. Seeing the old man get up, Fu Yechuan stared at him viciously. "Zhang Feng, do you want to die? I can grant you that wish." Just as Fu Yechuan was about to step forward to teach this, a figure suddenly appeared behind Zhang Feng. With one punch, he knocked the standing Zhang Feng back to the ground. Cheng Yi landed punch after punch on Zhang Feng's face. Su Nan shouted, "Cheng Yi, that's enough. Stop hitting him." At this moment, Chairman Zhang was beaten until his face was bruised and swollen. Hearing Su Nan tell him to stop, the person hitting him, Cheng Yi, paused his action slightly. He turned his head and said with a grin, "Right." Cheng Yi completely ignored Fu Yechuan's presence. He handed the flowers to Su Nan. "I went to the company to pick you up after work. Secretary, you said you were here. I came specially to give you a surprise. Do you like it?" Su Nan took the flowers and sighed helplessly. Although the plan was disrupted, she had gotten the information she wanted. "Forget it. If he keeps hitting him, someone might die. I don't want to get into trouble." Cheng Yi said with a grin, "As you command, my queen." Chairman Zhang looked in terror at the people in front of him. One was second young master Cheng. The other was Fu Yechuan. He couldn't afford to offend either of them. Didn't they say Su Nan was divorced by Fu Yechuan? Why is he still meddling in her business? Cheng Yi roared at Chairman Zhang. "What are you looking at? I'm sparing your dog's life. Now get lost." Hearing that his dog's life was spared, the old man fought back his dizziness and fled in a panic. Suddenly, Cheng Yi picked up the car key from the table and threw it. "Take it and go. Don't dirty my girlfriend's eyes." The ex-husband was agitated. His formerly reticent wife, after the divorce, Not only had she become radiant and dazzling, but someone was also calling his ex-wife girlfriend right in front of him. Fu Yechuan's heart was filled with mixed feelings. Chung-yi called Su-nin his girlfriend. Su-nin was speechless. She whispered, "Don't just say things like girlfriend." Su-nin glanced at Fu Yechuan, finding it a bit strange. His gaze was cold and grim. "Vice President Fu, why are you here?" At that moment, the anger in Fu Yechuan's chest couldn't help but erupt. He said fiercely, "Su-nin, how can you have no vigilance at all? You dare to drink wine given to you by a stranger? Aren't you afraid of being drugged? It's so dangerous. Is this the life you wanted after the divorce?" Su-nin lowered her head and smiled. She was really just asking for humiliation. She had thought he would be kind enough to help her, but it was just an excuse to lecture her. Su-nin picked up the wine glass from the table and drained it in one go. Then she swirled the empty glass. "Thank you for your righteous help, Vice President Fu. The wine had already been swapped by me. However, you have no right to judge what kind of life I want." Fu Yechuan was so angry, he gritted his teeth. He stepped forward, grabbed her arm, and said with an icy gaze, "Su-nin, what do you mean?" Su-nin curled her lip. "Vice President Fu, I'm here for work. But being married to you was just being a subservient maid in your house. You rich people, what's the difference between you and Zhang Feng?" Hearing this, Fu Yechuan was suddenly speechless. Su-nin let out a cold laugh. Without giving him another glance, she turned and left crisply on her high heels. Chung-yi raised an eyebrow and immediately followed her out. Fu Yechuan stood there, his gaze as cold as frost. Su-nin's words were like a thorn, pricking him uncomfortably. A subservient maid in the Fu family. When did the dignified Mrs. Fu become a maid? It seemed there was still a lot he didn't know about her. As soon as Fu Yechuan stepped out, he saw Zhang Feng by the door, grabbing onto Ling Shuang and rolling around, his face flushed and his eyes glazed over. So she really had known all along and was prepared. Then his actions just now were completely unnecessary. Perhaps she never needed him at all. Su-nin got in the car and left. Hearing Fu Yechuan's misunderstanding earlier, her heart wasn't without pain. After 3 years of marriage, he knew nothing about her. She would not walk that path again. Whatever Fu Yechuan did had nothing to do with her. Chung-yi glanced at her. "I saved you today. How are you going to thank me?" Su-nin asked, "Do you want a gift, or should I just transfer you the money?" Chung-yi looked at her with a half smile. "This is the first time a woman has tried to throw money at me, but I'd rather you repay me with your body." Su-nin gave him a sidelong glance. "In your dreams. Why? Why shouldn't you give me a chance?" Chung-yi huffed. Su-nin gave him a faint look. "I've always thought of you as a sister." "What the?" Chung-yi's mouth twitched. "I'll prove that I'm the most suitable person for you." Su-nin couldn't help but smile. "Suit yourself." Anyway, second young Master Cheng's enthusiasm usually doesn't last a month. Chung-yi could feel that Su-nin didn't believe him. It's fine. He wouldn't give this opportunity to someone else again. Su-nin powerfully tears apart the scheming woman and abuses the scumbag man at the Su Corporation. Inside the building, Ling Shuang rushed in angrily. There were still ambiguous marks on her neck that she couldn't hide. She wore a silk scarf in a vain attempt to cover them up. "Su-nin, why did you leave me and Chairman Zhang behind yesterday? Do you still want to continue the collaboration with Feng Heng or not?" Su-nin curled her lip, looking at Ling Shuang with a faint, mocking smile. Ling Shuang felt a little guilty under her gaze, and her imposing manner immediately weakened. "Forget it. As long as you sign a contract, we'll let this go." She threw the contract she had brought in front of Su-nin. Su-nin didn't even raise her head, tapping her phone a few times. A recording of the conversation from yesterday's dinner played. Ling Shuang's face turned deathly pale, and her body trembled slightly. Su-nin smiled. "Ling Shuang, if I hand this recording over, the company will thoroughly investigate all the projects you've handled. You'll also go to jail. I advise you to think it through. Are you really willing to give up your career for a single collaboration?" Ling Shuang's face was pale, a trace of panic flashing in her eyes. She immediately knelt and spoke in a respectful tone. "Vice President Su, it was my recklessness. The Fengheng project isn't that good. That company is actually just an empty shell." Su-nin nodded in satisfaction, thinking that if she didn't cause trouble, it was fine to keep her around for now. Maybe she could be used to catch a bigger fish in the future. I recognize Manager Ling's workability, but should be used for your own work. Don't always worry about other companies. Ling Shuang stiffened slightly. Vice President Su is right. On the other side, Lu Qi was dragging a reluctant Fu Yechuan, saying that a new couple's restaurant had opened upstairs from his family's restaurant and was stealing his business. Brother Chuan, just come with me to check it out. Think of it as scouting the enemy. The two arrived at the restaurant. The waiter emphasized again, this is a couple's restaurant. Lu Qi threw a flirtatious glance, held up his pinky finger, and grabbed Fu Yechuan's arm. Don't we look like a couple? At this moment, Wei Cheng and his girlfriend greeted them. Wei Cheng teased Lu Qi, are you afraid they'll steal your business, so you came to check it out yourself? As they were sitting, they saw Su Nan and Cheng Yi sitting opposite them. Cheng Yi smiled charmingly, his soul-stirring eyes fixed on her. He presented a bouquet of flowers to Su Nan. Su Nan, for you, your favorite Swiss Edelweiss. Su Nan smiled and accepted them. Thank you. As expected of a couple's restaurant opened by you, the service is excellent. Cheng Yi's gaze froze. She thought this was part of the couple's restaurant's standard service. This is a fresh bouquet. I just had air freighted from Switzerland. Such an expensive service is not something others can enjoy. He shook his head helplessly. Forget it. Take it slow. He had plenty of patience. Cheng Yi asked Su Nan if she had received the flowers he sent before. Su Nan hummed in acknowledgement. I received them. Thank you for the expense. Cheng Yi's face stiffened. That's it? You're not even going to ask me why I sent them? Su Nan looked clueless. Second young master Cheng. Why then? I'm pursuing you. He was frustrated by her denseness. Su Nan said, oh, I don't accept. Don't waste your time and energy on me. Cheng Yi was fuming. Such a blunt rejection. Did he have any face left? At this time, Lu Qi tooted. Look at those two, making eyes at each other. How could second young master Cheng like a woman like that? Oh my, are they planning to dance? The music swelled. Cheng Yi pulled Su Nan to the dance floor. Dance with me. Since we're already here, don't you want to experience the dance floor? Before Su Nan could answer, the music had already started. Refusing here would only attract attention. Forget it. She'll just dance. The music played cheerfully, and their dance steps matched perfectly. Gradually, the two became the focus of the dance floor. The people around them stopped to watch. One was handsome and devilishly charming, the other beautiful and coolly elegant. The swirl of her skirt captured everyone's gaze. A glint flashed in Cheng Yi's eyes. He suddenly saw someone in a certain corner. The rhythm ended at the perfect moment. In an instant, he pulled her into his arms, spun around with his back to the crowd, lowered his head, and held her in his embrace. To the crowd behind them, it looked like the two were in a passionate embrace and kiss. In the corner, Fu Yechuan was so angry he gritted his teeth. Su Nan stuns the audience, putting her ex-husband and sister-in-law to shame. Inside the couple's restaurant, Cheng Yi invited Su Nan to dance. The two cooperated with perfect chemistry. A round of applause erupted. Everyone praised how well they danced. The handsome man and beautiful woman looked so well matched together. Su Nan pushed Cheng Yi away. Why did you suddenly get so close? You scared me. Cheng Yi quickly said it was nothing. Let's go. He then put his arm around Su Nan and left. He glanced back at Fu Yechuan with a victorious look. Fu Yechuan said nothing, his face a little cold. Lu Qi looked at their departing figures and snorted coldly. That's all they've got. Although it could be considered professional level, Lu Qi would never admit that this woman, Su Nan, danced well. Wei Cheng sneered. Exactly. That scheming woman latched onto someone else so quickly. Hearing this, Fu Yechuan's eyes swept over Wei Cheng coldly. Scheming woman? Is that what you call her behind her back? What else? Didn't she do everything she could to marry you for money? All the brothers know you're divorced. We're all happy for you. You finally don't have to deal with that frumpy housewife anymore. Wei Cheng thought for a moment, not noticing that Fu Yechuan's expression was growing uglier and uglier. He continued, telling a memory as a joke. I remember right after you two got married, we were drinking together. When you went to the restroom, she actually called late at night to check up on you. I answered the phone. I warned her right then and there to recognize her own status. She should take a look at herself. Marrying you was already a step up to heaven. At this moment, Fu Yechuan's hand slammed heavily on the table. The surroundings were lively and cheerful, but the atmosphere at this table was as cold as winter. Lu Qi was slightly surprised. Fu Yechuan's expression clearly showed he was getting angry. Because of that woman, Fu Yechuan sneered. Wei Cheng, why don't you just come and be the head of the Fu family? After saying that, Fu Yechuan stood up and left, leaving behind a pale-faced Wei Cheng. Lu Qi quickly chased after him. It must be related to Su Nan. This woman is such trouble. He tooted. Brother Chuan, why do you look so upset? We're all brothers. You know Wei Chung is straightforward and speaks his mind. If he said something wrong, don't take it to heart. Fu Yechuan also knew he had overreacted. He hadn't expected to lose control of his emotions. It was just that suddenly learning about things he should have known, but was kept in the dark about. Was this also a reason why Sunan hated him so much? At this moment, his chest felt tight and very uncomfortable. I'm not angry at him. I'm angry at myself. Lu Qi breathed a sigh of relief. Brother Chuan, you're not still thinking about that woman, are you? Fu Yechuan glanced at him, snorted coldly, and couldn't be bothered to respond to his probing. Your restaurant can't compare to this one. I advise you to close up shop. Lu Qi's face darkened. What kind of brother was this? This day, the group's anniversary celebration began. The attendees of the banquet were all socialites. Suddenly, a gasp was heard. The crowd looked towards the sound. In the banquet hall, Su Jin had arrived with Su Nan. Su Nan was wearing a custom-made gown inlaid with silver rhinestones, which seemed to give her a halo under the lights. Someone recognized her. Isn't that Fu Yechuan's ex-wife? To have such a wife and still get a divorce, he's truly blind. At this time, people came forward to greet them. President Su, your companion today is truly beautiful. Su Jin smiled and raised his glass, gesturing to the crowd. This is the vice president of my Su Corporation, Su Nan. Please take good care of her. Vice President Su is both beautiful and talented. She must be exceptionally capable to be its Su Corporation. Truly remarkable. Vice President Su, you'll have to take care of us in the future. Su Jin lowered his head and whispered a reminder in Su Nan's ear. President Lin of the Julie Group is upstairs. Let's go up. Not far away, Fu Yingying was with a few of her friends. Watching Su Nan receive everyone's praise, her face was cold and grim. Their carefully selected gowns were completely overshadowed by Su Nan's diamond starry sky dress, which stole everyone's attention, especially Fu Yingying. She was shocked and angry. The gown Su Nan was wearing was a private custom design by Rose Liton that she had her eye on half a month ago. The diamonds on it were all real diamonds from the same series of a famous jewelry brand, worth nearly 9 figures. Even the style was only shown to high society debutantes. She had sent someone to rent it, but was told it had already been bought. But she never expected it to be worn by Su Nan. A woman beside her said, Yingying, is Su Nan really your former sister-in-law? She's not ugly at all. And the man next to her is so handsome and considerate. I just saw your brother looking at her too. Fu Yingying's eyes were full of jealousy. She snorted coldly. A woman who was kicked out of the house. What can she do besides seduce men? She's probably looking for a sugar daddy to support her so she can live a life of luxury. In order to marry the man, the woman hid her identity and gave up her right to inherit a billion-dollar fortune. After 3 years of marriage, not only did the man dote on the White Lotus as his sweetheart, he also used the woman as his mobile blood bank. 3 years of marriage were exchanged for her husband's indifference, the verbal abuse of her mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and the provocations of the White Lotus. The woman, disheartened, chose to divorce, ending her 3-year failed marriage. Her brother took her home to inherit the billion-dollar fortune. After the divorce, the woman decisively cut off her romantic ties and tore apart the White Lotus and abused the scumbag man. This day, her big brother brought Su Nan to the second-floor banquet hall to find President Lin. The two shook hands lightly. Before Su Jin could make an introduction, Brother Lin's gaze shifted to Su Nan. Miss Su is not only beautiful, but also very capable. I invited Miss Su to this banquet. I hope you don't mind. Su Nan smiled. Of course not. Congratulations to Julie Group on its 5th anniversary. I hope that in every year to come, we can have a pleasant collaboration. Su Nan's words had a double meaning. Brother Lin smiled. President Su, may I speak with Miss Su alone for a moment? After all, if we have the chance to cooperate, the person in charge of liaising from your company will be Su Nan. Su Jin encouraged Su Nan not to worry. Brother Lin casually swirled the wine in his glass. I want to know why Miss Su is so confident about this collaboration. Su Nan raised an eyebrow. President Lin, the terms I've offered are very sincere. I believe you've seen them. Among all the investors, none is more suitable than the Su Corporation. Su Nan stated with full confidence, we don't care if your company is profitable. We at Su Corporation have plenty of money. We only look at whether we can have a long-term collaboration. Because I believe in the future of Julie Corporation. We can determine the development level of artificial intelligence in the world. Hearing Su Nan's bold and ambitious words, Brother Lin thought she had quite the courage and foresight. He smiled, his eyes lowered. Among the current investors, those offering more money than the Su Corporation aren't offering as much profit sharing as Sunan. Those offering more profit sharing don't have enough capital. Brother Lin was not just a businessman, but also a technician. He needed to find the most suitable partner for his brainchild. Brother Lin lowered his head in thought and asked, Vice President Su, would you mind participating in a three-way collaboration with another company? Sunan asked, who else? Sunan didn't believe there was anyone more suitable than the Su Corporation. Brother Lin raised his glass, gesturing behind Sunan. Indeed, the only one who could compete with the Su Corporation and forcefully participate in this project was none other than Fu Yechuan. Fu Yechuan was in a black suit that made him look sharp, cold, and unapproachable. His gaze lingered on Sunan for a few seconds before he calmly greeted Brother Lin. Brother Lin's eyes darted between the two of them. I don't need to introduce you, right? You should be very familiar with each other. I'm sorry, Miss Su, for not telling you in advance. No matter who our final partner is, the Fu Corporation will be involved in the project. Facing Sunan's puzzled gaze, Brother Lin smiled. Because from the very beginning, Vice President Fu, as a sponsor, has been funding all of my projects. So Fu Yechuan was a shareholder of Julie Corporation. She just hadn't expected that Fu Yechuan's sights had long been set on the field of artificial intelligence. Sunan lowered her eyes and smiled. With the Fu Corporation's capabilities, you could have enjoyed the fruits of this collaboration exclusively. Why the need for a three-way partnership? She raised an eyebrow, glancing sideways at Fu Yechuan. Since it's a completely new and uncharted field, the Fu Corporation cannot bear the risk alone. The man's voice was deep and cool. He curled his lip. Choosing Julie Group, the Su Corporation won't be wrong. I hope our collaboration will be pleasant. Sunan gave a cool, elegant smile, her lips curling slightly. He was right. This collaboration could bring huge returns. I can't just not make money and let others benefit for free. And so, the three of them raised their glasses to a pleasant collaboration. Brother Lin looked at the tense atmosphere between the two. Why don't you two dance the first dance? As the opening for the anniversary celebration, I think this is undoubtedly the best way to announce our collaboration. Fu Yechuan frowned slightly, looking at Sunan. Sunan smiled and politely declined. I'm sorry, I don't know how to dance. After speaking, she turned and walked away on her high heels, ignoring Fu Yechuan's cold, grim gaze. Brother Lin shrugged. It's just one dance. She's not even willing to do that. It seems the future collaboration won't be too pleasant. Vice President Fu, you're the first from a prestigious family to have such an ungraceful divorce. Fu Yechuan's face darkened, watching the swaying hem of her dress as she walked away. His expression grew even uglier. Doesn't know how to dance? Huh. Was he blind when she was dancing with Cheng Yi at the couple's restaurant? But then he suddenly remembered Wei Cheng's words. His anger dissipated unconsciously, and a strange feeling stirred in his heart. Maybe he really did owe Sunan. After going downstairs, Sunan's expression was a little cold. Seeing Sunan's expression, Su Jin was puzzled. Sunan spoke up. Big brother, Fu Yechuan is a shareholder. Brother Lin is requesting a three-way collaboration. Su Jin paused for a moment, finally understanding the reason for Sunan's coldness. He smiled and patted her shoulder dotingly. It's okay. Sharing the risk is better than not. The pros outweigh the cons. Sunan was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized. What Fu Yechuan was worried about was exactly what the Su Corporation was worried about. A three-way collaboration indeed had more pros than cons. Having figured it out, the stuffiness in her chest vanished. She smiled and linked her arm with Su Jin's. It's a good thing you reminded me, big brother. Otherwise, I would have been cursing their ancestors in my head. Su Jin couldn't help but laugh. To others, this warm scene was particularly jarring. Fu Yechuan stared from upstairs. The two of them stood together intimately. Brother Lin tooted and leaned in. I heard Su Jin isn't interested in women. Why is he so attentive to Miss Su? Could they have an ulterior relationship? Fu Yechuan's gaze was cold and grim, and he didn't speak. Brother Lin saw through Fu Yechuan's thoughts. He thought to himself, let me give you a helping hand. Then, Brother Lin walked over and whispered a few words to the host. The host then took the microphone and stepped forward. Esteemed guests, welcome to the anniversary celebration of Julie Group. To celebrate this unforgettable day, on behalf of President Lin, I announce that the partners for Julie Group's latest project are the Fu Corporation and the Su Corporation. Now, let's invite Vice President Fu Yechuan and Vice President Su Nan to open the celebration with a dance. The crowd cheers immediately grew enthusiastic. Su Nan was a bit stunned to hear her name. She didn't want to get entangled with Fu Yechuan at all, but she was being forced into it. The eyes of everyone around were focused on her. While Su Nan was still hesitating, Fu Yechuan had already arrived in front of her. He bowed, extending his hand to invite Su Nan for a dance. The gazes of everyone around were focused on them. It was clear that this invitation could not be refused. She couldn't leave any negative impression at the start of this three-way collaboration. That would be very detrimental to the partnership. Su Jin looked at his sister with a pained expression. Su Nan gave a calm smile, extended her hand, and placed it in Fu Yechuan's. Fu Yechuan's palm was slightly cool. At that moment, he suddenly realized that in their 3 years of marriage, they had never had a wedding. It seemed he had also never taken the initiative to hold her hand. This was the first time they had held hands. The orchestra began to play, and the entire banquet hall echoed with a long, refreshing, and joyful melody. Fu Yechuan's dark, deep eyes stared at Su Nan's face. His hand rested on her slender waist. Su Nan's body stiffened. For a moment, she felt very uncomfortable. In 3 years of marriage, the two of them had never been this intimate. Dancing together after a divorce. Truly unexpected. In a moment, Su Nan's supple waist swayed along with the music. Fu Yechuan's voice was low. Woman, didn't you just say you couldn't dance? Hearing this, Su Nan raised an eyebrow. It depends on the person. Su Nan was once again harassed and insulted by the scumbag sister. How will Su Nan fight back against such a white lotus? Just now, due to their collaboration, Su Nan and Fu Yechuan had no choice but to share a dance. Fu Yechuan leaned close to Su Nan and asked, I also didn't know you were good at business. The corner of Su Nan's mouth lifted slightly with a hint of mockery. There are many things you don't know, but I have no obligation to tell you. Married for 3 years, he had never once thought of getting to know his wife. So, after the divorce, was there any need to say more? For him, those 3 years were just a passing phase in his marriage. But for Su Nan, this marriage was a deeply ingrained lesson. Su Nan just wanted this dance to end quickly. Being so close to Fu Yechuan made her feel uncomfortable all over. Fu Yechuan's gaze, however, was fixed on her face. The music was nearing its end. His body leaned forward. Su Nan happened to take a step back, tilting her head up to follow. Fu Yechuan didn't retreat. Instead, following the music, he subconsciously straightened his back, moving forward. Their lips, so unexpectedly, almost touched. The people below the stage whispered among themselves that didn't they get a divorce? This looks like they're getting back together. Su Nan shoved Fu Yechuan away, her eyes cold and fierce. I asked this fun for you. Su Nan turned and left coolly. Fu Yechuan lowered his eyes, stunned in place. Just now she was so close to him, they almost kissed. Brother Lin came forward and asked Fu Yechuan, you did that on purpose just now, didn't you? Others might not have noticed Su Nan's rhythm, but the problem was with you, Fu Yechuan. You've received an elite, aristocratic education since you were a child. I don't really believe you'd have slow reactions while dancing. Fu Yechuan directly ignored Brother Lin's question. On the second floor of the hall, Su Nan walked towards Chung. You're late. Chung Yi leaned nonchalantly against the railing, free and unrestrained. I come when I want to. If I hadn't heard you were coming too, I wouldn't have bothered attending this kind of event. Su Nan rolled her eyes at him. Don't drag me into this. It was obviously your dad who made you come. Chung-yi showed no embarrassment at being exposed. With that mouth of yours. He smiled. Anyway, my purpose is... Just then, someone called out Su Nan. Su Nan turned her head. She saw Fu Yingying approaching menacingly with her group of friends. Su Nan, do you have any shame? You've already divorced my brother, yet you're still trying every trick to seduce him? Let me tell you, our family will never accept a woman like you. Su Nan rolled her eyes. This whole act was so childish. Chung-yi looked at Fu Yingying with a cold smile. Well, who is this? With such a foul mouth, daring to bully Su Nan in front of me. Do you have a death wish? Fu Yingying glared fiercely at Cheng. What does this have to do with you? Are you her lover? Cheng Yi was amused. Lover? I like that title. Su Nan glanced helplessly at Cheng Yi, warning him to shut up. She swept a cool gaze over Fu Yingying. Miss Fu, what are you trying to do? Fu Yingying lifted her chin defiantly. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You definitely tried to kiss my brother on purpose just now. You want my brother to like you? Dream on. My brother only has Qiao Wanru in his heart. You're nothing but a blood transfusion tool for him. Stop having delusional fantasies about marrying into our wealthy Fu family. Su Nan snapped coldly. The whole world knows about your brother's affair with Qiao Wanru. Miss Fu, you should have said these things earlier to testify for me. He's just a scumbag who cheated during the marriage. Fu Yingying's face turned pale. She pointed at Su Nan, flustered and exasperated. Everyone, you don't know what kind of person she is, do you? Everything she wears, eats, and uses, she got by selling herself to men. She's just a wild pheasant. She doesn't have a penny to her name. When she was with the Fu family, she was always asking my brother for money. Fu Yingying laughed unscrupulously. She still thinks she's the young mistress of a wealthy family. She was just a servant, washing clothes, cooking, cleaning toilets. She was worse than a maid. Suddenly, a cold, powerful voice sounded from behind Fu Yingying. Hearing it, Fu Yingying turned around in shock. Brother. She didn't know when Fu Yechuan had appeared there, his face dark and ugly. Extremely. Fu Yingying subconsciously took a step back, her face pale. She thought, oh no, my brother didn't know about this. Now I've blurted it out. Brother, I was just teaching her a lesson. This woman was trying to seduce you just now. Cheng Yi, standing to the side, couldn't help but sneer, interrupting Fu Yingying. Stop pretending. Hearing those words, Cheng Yi was trembling with anger, wishing he could beat up the Fu Yechuan in front of him. I asked this how the Fu family treats the person they were supposed to cherish? The eldest daughter of the Su family. Cheng Yi's tone was cold. Miss Fu, you still have a nerve to show off these disgusting things as glorious deeds? Su Nan must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck to have been blind enough to marry into your family. Su Nan's devotion and 3 years of unwavering commitment shouldn't become fodder for gossip and ridicule. What does it have to do with you? Tell me the truth. Have you been having an affair with Su Nan for a long time? Before Su Nan and my brother got divorced. Ugh. Fu Yingying still hadn't forgotten to sling mud at Su Nan. Fu Yechuan snapped at Fu Yingying. Shut up. He questioned, is every word she just said true? Fu Yingying was flustered, not knowing how to respond. Seeing her hesitation, Fu Yechuan pressed coldly, speak. Su Nan gave a faint, cold, mocking smile. Vice President, it's all true. At this, the crowd erupted in an uproar. Tsk. So the divorce rumors back then weren't baseless after all. Life in a wealthy family really isn't easy. It's disgusting not to treat your wife like a human being. A cheating scumbag still has the nerve to put on an act here. Fu Yechuan's body, his heart felt as if it had been squeezed hard by someone. So it turned out, it wasn't just his close friends who looked down on her, but the entire Fu family was bullying her. And as Su Nan's husband, in 3 years of marriage, the number of times he returned to their new home could be counted on one hand. Every time he saw her, it was only to make her donate blood for Qiao Wanru. Fu Yechuan's fists clenched tightly. He had always thought he was good to her. It turned out he was just deceiving himself. He actually owed her so much. But Su Nan let out a light laugh. But so what if it's true? Are you going to make the Fu family's young miss and Madam kneel and apologize to me? Make them wash my clothes, cook for me, and be my servants? Or are you planning to use money to get rid of me, your poor ex-wife, vice president? Or will you choose to kneel and apologize on their behalf? Fu Yechuan remained silent. Does everyone want Fu Yechuan to kneel? Su Nan powerfully tearing apart the White Lotus. It's just so satisfying. Facing Fu Yingying's insults, Su Nan's tone was icy as she questioned the wealthy scumbag if he was going to kneel and apologize to her. At this moment, everyone was shocked, chattering amongst themselves. Wow, Su Nan really dares to say it. This is no longer a matter of a simple apology to save face, is it? Can this farce even be resolved? Fu Yingying, baring her teeth and claws, refused to admit defeat, making my brother apologize to Su Nan in front of so many people. That's just daydreaming. Who do you think you are? Fu Yechuan interrupted his sister. That's enough. Brother, Why do you always side with an outsider like her? Fu Yechuan's dark, brooding eyes were filled with complexity. He couldn't fulfill a single one of the conditions she had mentioned, except for money, but Sunan didn't need it. This time, he felt a sense of powerless frustration, Sunan. But Sunan had no intention of backing down, that if the vice president can't do anything, then don't put on a guilty look for everyone to see. An apology isn't worth much. Do you need to play the victim too? That's just too pathetic. Sunan sneered, her gaze turning cold as she looked at Fu Yingying. Miss Fu, you keep bringing up this ugly business, trying to humiliate me. The one being humiliated isn't me. It's your Fu family for abusing its daughter-in-law. The heir cheats, and you even show it off everywhere. Truly an eye-opener. It's you who is unworthy. Sunan, just now you were clearly trying to seduce my brother. Are you denying it? Sunan let out a cold laugh, her tone icy. Miss Fu thinks I was deliberately seducing the vice president. Sunan glanced sideways at the gossiping crowd, that I in the eyes of others. Do you also think I was the one who initiated the seduction of Fu Yechuan? A mocking smile played on Sunan's lips. 3 years ago, I was blind to have married the vice president. 3 years later, I won't be blind a second time. Even if I were to seduce every man in the world, I would never go for Fu Yechuan again. She didn't want to recall that suffocating and oppressive past ever again. Fu Yingying shivered under Su Nan's cold gaze. She felt that the Su Nan at this moment was a complete stranger. The timid, submissive Su Nan from her memory, who never dared to fight back, was definitely not the person before her. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Su Nan turned and left. Downstairs, Cheng Yi shot a cold glare at Fu Yechuan and Fu Yingying. Fu Yechuan has days like this too. Everyone looked at Fu Yechuan, who was standing there with an ugly expression. Brother Lin said with a smile, everyone, please continue to eat and drink well. Try to divert everyone's attention elsewhere. After going downstairs, someone called out to her, Miss Su, I hope you'll look after me in the future. Miss Su was so open, honest, and valiant just now. I like to toast Miss Su. Sunan drank one toast after another. She was starting to feel a little dizzy. Cheng Yi poured her a glass of water. Sunan, did Fu Yechuan bully you tonight? What did Fu Yingying say? That you seduced him? It's not surprising. Cheng Yi rubbed his palms together. If he dares to bully you, I definitely won't let him get away with it. Sunan smiled. All right then, I'm counting on you. Just then, someone else came over to offer a toast. Cheng Yi took the drink and drank it on Sunan's behalf. Sunan had drunk too much and wanted to go to the restroom. She splashed her face with cold water, and the frustration in her chest dissipated quite a bit. Just as she was about to grab a paper towel to dry her face, she heard Fu Yingying's voice approaching from outside. Sunan, that white lotus, I won't let her go. Not only did she make our Fu family lose all face today, but the men flocking around her are endless. It's so shameless, climbing up by stepping on men's bodies. And now she's a strong career woman? She should take a look at what she really is. As Fu Yingying was speaking, she walked in with her friends and happened to see Su Nan leaning against the sink. Fu Yingying's expression instantly reverted to its usual nasty look. She snorted coldly that it's really annoying running into you everywhere. Su Nan smiled calmly. The feeling is mutual. Fu Yingying's eyebrows shot up. What right do you have to say that? Other people might not know your true colors, but do you think you can just erase the past and start over? You're just a low-class piece of trash. No matter where you go, you can't get rid of that poor stench. Sunan's lips curled. She crossed her arms. Miss Fu, you should be thanking your lucky stars that I'm not actively settling old scores with you, instead of coming up to me, looking for trouble. Fu Yingying was not to be outdone. What did you say? You dare to warn me? I'm the eldest daughter of the Fu family. Who do you think you are? Without the Fu family, you're nothing. A commoner from a humble background. Do you have the right to be on equal footing with me? I just couldn't stand her, so I deliberately made things difficult for her, made her do housework. She deserved to be subservient and swallow her anger. Sunan wiped her lips. You really think your Fu family is all that, don't you? Miss Fu, your sense of superiority is a bit over the top. Sunan, have you forgotten how shameless you were? You'd rather be a living blood bank for Qiao Wanru just to shamelessly marry my brother. Wasn't it just to sell your blood for money, you desperate woman? And now you're relying on men. Sunan's smile vanished, her expression turning cold and fierce. Miss Fu, I advise you to shut your mouth. Otherwise, don't blame me for not being polite. Fu Yingying snorted. Am I afraid of you, Sunan? If you have the guts, then bring it on. What can a poor girl like you do to fight me? The next second, Sunan picked up a glass and threw a cup of cold water over Fu Yingying's head and body. Fu Yingying cried out in shock, Sunan, how dare you dirty my Dior haute couture? Sunan put down the glass and curled her lips. Did you really think I would tolerate you like I used to? Fu Yingying's face was contorted with rage. She raised her hand to slap Su Sunan, you white lotus. But before the slap could land, Sunan, as if waiting for her to make a move, gave a slight smirk. Her eyes glinted, and she nimbly sidestepped to the other side, accurately grabbing Fu Yingying's arm with one hand. With her other hand, she viciously grabbed her wavy bangs. Your mouth is so filthy. Let me help you wash it. Then, with a forward push, she plunged Fu Yingying's head forcefully into the sink. Water splashed everywhere. The friends behind her gasped, their faces changing in shock. Sunan powerfully tears apart her former sister-in-law. Slapping her ex-husband's family in the face is just too satisfying. Facing Fu Yingying's provocations and insults, Sunan decided not to tolerate it anymore and teach her a lesson. When she made her move, she directly pushed her into the sink full of water. Fu Yingying struggled violently, her face pale, looking as pathetic and drenched as a drowned rat. Her friends immediately rushed forward to help her up. Yingying, are you okay? Sunan flicked her hair back, smiling with satisfaction. Miss Fu, I told you just now that I won't tolerate you anymore. If you provoke me again, you'll have to pay the price. Then, she walked away in her high heels. Fu Yingying watched Sunan's departing figure, as if she had completely changed into a different person. When Sunan came out of the restroom, she looked up and saw Fu Yechuan, who had been standing there for who knows how long. She wanted to walk past him as if nothing had happened, but he just had to call out to her, Sunan. Fu Yechuan stood there, watching her deliberately ignore him. He felt extremely uncomfortable, but he had to do this. He owed her. That's why when he heard what was happening in the women's restroom, he restrained himself from going in to stop it. Sunan stopped in her tracks and turned her head to look at him. Is President Fu here to see Miss Fu? You're too late. She's not in a state to see anyone right now. Fu Yechuan looked at Sunan with deep eyes and asked, why did you want a divorce out of the blue? Sunan twitched her lips that were already divorced. Is the vice president only now thinking of asking for an answer? Isn't it a bit too late? You just need to take good care of Qiao Wanru. From now on, we'll mind our own business. Fu Yechuan frowned, wanting to explain the matter with Qiao Wanru to her, but was coldly interrupted by Sunan. Enough. It's disgusting enough just bringing it up. Vice President, from now on, let's just pretend we don't know each other. After speaking, she walked away in her high heels without looking back. Her good mood was completely ruined. Sunan came out with a slightly gloomy expression and happened to see Su Jin, who had finished his business and was waiting for her. He draped a coat over her shoulders. Are you tired? If you're tired, let's go home. Sunan squinted her eyes and smiled. Brothers are still the best in the world. Sunan asked if they needed to say goodbye. No need. I already told them. Let's go. The driver is waiting outside. She nodded, took Su Jin's arm, and walked out. The handsome man and beautiful woman were extremely eye-catching. Chang'e chased after them from behind. President Su, mind if I join? Sunan looked at Su Jin. Su Jin said with a cold expression, we mind. It's not on our way. Sunan smiled, waved her hand. Chang'e. Goodbye. The next day, at the Su Corporation building, Sunan sat in her office and opened her phone. Photos from last night's banquet had spread, instantly pushing Sunan and Fu Yechuan to the top of the trending topics. Wealthy couple suspected of reconciling. The accompanying photo was precisely of the near kiss at the end of their dance. The timing of a shot was truly clever. Sunan scoffed coldly. Too lazy to bother with it. Sunan opened a group chat. The group was in an uproar. It was bustling with activity. Chang'e, $1 million for PR fees? They really have the nerve to ask. Qin Yu asked, didn't second young Master Qing attend too? How come he's not in any of the shots? Ning Zhila replied, if his picture was in it, who would pay to take down the trending topic? Sunan helplessly added a message. Next time, please just transfer the money to me directly. I'll go clarify it myself. Chang'e, despair, spitting red ink. Just then, Ning Zhila sent a message. SOS. There's a charity dinner tonight at 8 p.m. that I have to attend, but I'm not in the country. My company's artist, the beautiful Xiao Ran, is going. Can you go in my place, Sunan? Sunan arrived at the charity auction and unexpectedly saw Chu Qin and Fu Yingying. Sunan let out a speechless sound. They're like lingering ghosts. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the final auction item. An image appeared on the huge screen. It was an antique jadeite pipe. It looked clear and lustrous, with a moist sheen. The jadeite pipe, provided by the Madam and Young Miss of the Fu Corporation. Starting bid, 3 million. Sunan's eyes widened. This pipe, isn't this the Fu family's ancestral heirloom? The treasure that old Master Fu protected with his life. Once, when she was just cleaning the ancestral hall, she accidentally touched it and was forced by Chu Qin to kneel for the entire night. Chu Qin raised her paddle. 3 million. Sunan found it unbelievable. It was difficult for others to even get a glimpse of the jadeite pipe, yet they had brought it here to be auctioned. Sunan let out a cold scoff. Interesting. Then I'll play along with them. She raised her paddle without hesitation. 10 million. The hall was instantly in an uproar. Everyone's eyes focused on her. Seeing Sunan, Fu Yingying and Chu Qin were also very surprised. Why is she here? This pipe, those who knew its value wouldn't dare to bid, out of respect for old Master Fu. Those who didn't know its value wouldn't bid either. So their plan was perfect. Bring it out for show, then buy it back themselves. They would gain both face and substance. But they never expected to run into Sunan here. Chu Qin, beside her, was clearly a little flustered. Sunan's bid was clearly without any scruples. 10 million was their limit. The two women had no real financial power in the Fu family. They received a fixed allowance from their husbands every month. They didn't have much private savings. They clearly didn't have the confidence to continue bidding. Sunan's arrival was unexpected. Chu Qin's original plan was that even if someone bid, it wouldn't exceed 10 million. Even if it exceeded 10 million, no one would compete with the Fu family. But Sunan was different. She was targeting them. She was targeting the Fu family. At the charity auction, Sunan masterfully bid on her ex-husband's family heirloom. Her former mother-in-law was utterly humiliated. Just now, Sunan had bid 10 million. Chu Qin turned back, pretending to be calm, and glared fiercely at Sunan, as if warning her. 11 million. Chu Qin appeared calm and composed, having thought that 10 million would be the ceiling. Chu Qin actually followed with a bid of 12 million. Sunan kept up. She wanted to wear out their patience from the very beginning. 13 million. Chu Qin followed, clearly getting restless. Chu Qin's eyes were filled with panic. Fu Yingying didn't hesitate, as if she had made a major decision. 20 million. Did they think Sunan's limit was 20 million? Sunan directly interrupted, raising her paddle. 30 million. She couldn't be bothered to intimidate Chu Qin and Fu Yingying bit by bit anymore. She wanted to win it outright. Chu Qin and Fu Yingying's faces were pale and ugly. They must be doing this on purpose, deliberately going against us. The entire hall was silent. 30 million, going 3 times. Congratulations to this lady. The proceeds will be donated to Hope Primary School. The crowd began to applaud, finally breaking the tense and heavy atmosphere. Sunan greeted everyone gracefully, then smiled at the two people in front. She was in a truly good mood. Sunan went to collect the item afterward. As expected, Chu Qin and Fu Yingying followed her. A staff member politely placed the item in front of Sunan. Sunan picked it up to examine it. There was a small red spot on the bottom of the pipe. Indeed, it was the real one. She completely ignored the two people standing to the side. Chu Qin finally couldn't hold back anymore. She snorted coldly. Sunan, are your eyes on the soles of your feet? You don't even know basic manners when you see an elder? Sunan let out a sound. Oh, Mrs. Fu is here too. What a coincidence. Chu Qin's face turned pale with anger. That you've really rebelled. Do you think you can disrespect me just because you have a backer? Don't you forget, I am your mother-in-law. Sunan couldn't help but let out a light laugh. Are you getting old and forgetful? I divorced your son a long time ago. Fu Yingying couldn't help but speak up. That Sunan, you're being too unreasonable. How can you speak to an elder like that? Sunan's smile faded, her cool gaze sweeping over Fu Yingying. You want to teach me a lesson? Fu Yingying flinched and didn't dare to make sound. These two had originally planned to intimidate Sunan, then coax her into giving back the pipe. But Sunan didn't play by their rules at all. Chu Qin was a little nervous. Sunan, I'll give you 30 million. I'm taking the item back. Sunan smiled. If you had 30 million, you could have offered it during the auction. We could have competed fairly. It's too late now. Chu Qin saw that being forceful wasn't working, so she tried to appeal to their past relationship. But Sunan was impervious to both hard and soft tactics. Chu Qin said with a smug look, I've already contacted Yechuan. He'll be here soon. Whether he comes or not, the item is mine. Do you really think I'm the same foolish woman from 3 years ago? She took out a black card and said to the staff, swipe the card. She flicked her hair. As long as I'm happy. I can't afford to pay even more. Sunan took the relevant documents and signed her name. The pipe officially belonged to Sunan. The door was suddenly pushed open. Seeing Fu Yechuan arrive, the two of them immediately rushed over. Fu Yingying said frantically, "Brother, it was Sunan who snatched the pipe. That's Grandpa's favorite thing. If he can't see it, there will be big trouble." Fu Yechuan stood at the door, his deep, cold gaze fixed on the people in the room. His tone was sharp as he snapped at Fu Yingying, "Shut up. Stealing the old master's things. How dare you?" Fu Yingying trembled with fear. Chu Qin didn't dare to look up either. "Sunan, prepare to leave, that I won't disturb your family reunion. I'll be going now." Fu Yechuan spoke coldly. "Sunan, you can't take that item with you." Chu Qin quickly chimed in, "Right? She can't take it." Sunan raised an eyebrow, brandishing the documents in her hand. "Look closely. You don't call the shots here. It's mine now." Sunan glanced at Fu Yechuan's ugly expression, her mood inexplicably good. Mrs. Fu, you should probably worry about whether you'll be kicked out of the house by old Master Fu. Chu Qin's face turned white. "That you're deliberately going against me. You want to anger me to death," Sunan said coldly, "deliberately torturing me. Isn't that what you love to do most?" Chu Qin was at a loss for words. Fu Yechuan's aura was oppressive. Sunan, how much money do you want to leave the item behind? Sunan laughed lightly. "Oh, I look like I need money? Let me tell you, this is just the beginning." The woman unintentionally bought her ex-husband's family heirloom at an auction. Faced with her ex-husband's offer, will Sunan agree to return it? Inside the Su Corporation building, her assistant came in holding a bouquet of flowers. "The secretary of the vice president of the Fu Corporation called, wanting to invite you to dinner." Sunan let out a cold laugh. Her gaze was cold. "That I don't have time. Decline it. From now on, you don't need to ask me about his dinner invitations. Just decline them directly." "And this bouquet from young Master Chung." Sunan frowned and closed the file. "Didn't I say to throw them out directly before?" Hearing this, Chung Yi suddenly appeared, questioning angrily, "Su Shao Si, you're really breaking my heart. The flowers I carefully selected for you. Not only are you not surprised, you're throwing them away without even looking at them." Sunan paused and looked at him. "Second young Master Chung, what brings you here today?" Chung Yi glared at her, grinding his teeth in frustration. "That I came to ask you to dinner. I didn't expect you to give me such a big surprise." Sunan smiled apologetically. "Being too high profile at the company will cause gossip." Chung Yi snorted. "That I don't care. You're in the wrong, so you have to treat me to a meal." Sunan had no choice but to agree helplessly. "All right, let's go. You pick the place." When they arrived at the restaurant, who would have thought they'd run into people they didn't want to see? Lu Chi snorted coldly. "Sunan, you turned down Brother Chuan's invitation just to go on a date with second young Master Chung." Su Jin, Xiao Ran, Chung, you change the man by your side every day. You seem really busy. Fu Yechuan stood to the side without a word, his gaze filled with meaning. Sunan gave a light laugh and linked arms with Chung Yi. "How many men I change and how many people I date, what does that have to do with you? Could it be that young Master Lu wants to ask me out too?" Lu Chi was furious. "Why do I always get completely owned by Sunan? I wouldn't even spare a glance for someone like you." Sunan also had a look of disdain. To be honest, I've seen it last time. Young Master Lu's physique is really not that great. My standards for a man's body are very strict. Lu Chi trembled all over with anger, speechless. "Damn it, she said my figure is not good." Lu Chi's face turned pale with anger, and he trembled all over, but he didn't dare to say a word. If only she didn't have his nudes. Seeing Lu Chi deflated, Chung Yi smiled. "My standards have always been very high. If young Master Lu continues, it will affect our Sunan's mood for eating." Sunan said in a low voice, "It's already affected." Sunan gave Lu Chi a cold look, ignored Fu Yechuan next to him, and walked straight in. Because she had run into people she didn't want to see, Sunan had no appetite even to eat. She just drank some more beverages. Then she planned to go to the restroom to wash her face. Chung Yi said he would call Secretary Yu to come and pick them up. Sunan had drunk a little too much. Her head was dizzy. Unexpectedly, at the corner, she bumped into someone. She quickly apologized. When she looked up, she saw Fu Yechuan's cold and stern face. She sobered up instantly, immediately taking a step back to keep her distance. Fu Yechuan's gaze darkened slightly. "What a coincidence, Sunan." Sunan raised an eyebrow. Not a coincidence. I was just about to leave. After speaking, she turned to leave, but was pulled back by Fu Yechuan. Let's talk. Sunan turned her head and took a few steps back. I don't think there's anything for us to talk about. If it's about work, please contact my assistant. Fu Yechuan spoke. Name your price. I must have that pipe. Sunan smiled. Vice President, don't you understand yet? Since yesterday, I've ignored all your offers. That means it's a refusal. Just then, Chung Yi came out and called for Sunan to leave. Sunan said she hadn't gotten her bag. Chung Yi said he would go get it for her and told her to get in the car and wait for him first. Sunan stood outside waiting for Chung Yi. Suddenly, Fu Yechuan and Lu Qi also came out. Lu Qi asked Fu Yechuan, "Is Qiao Wanrong coming back to the country? It's been so long. I actually miss her a little. Although what she did was wrong, your punishment was too severe. We're all family. Just forgive her." As they were about to walk closer, Sunan quickly avoided the two. As she walked, she got into the car to leave. Sunan withdrew her gaze, a dull ache tightening in her chest. What a family. To them, sending Qiao Wanru abroad was actually a punishment. Letting her return to the country was just a matter of Fu Yechuan forgiving her with a single sentence. Then what did her 3 years of blood count for? Sunan snorted coldly. You all can forgive her, but I can't. Since Qiao Wanru is coming back, then I'll prepare a grand gift for her. Chung Yi drove Sunan home. Seeing that Sunan was about to go inside, he grabbed her. He said to her affectionately, "Sunan, without one Fu Yechuan, you still have many people around you. Don't be unhappy because of him. He's not worthy of you. You are my queen." This carefree young master was actually getting serious. But no matter who it is, I don't want to talk about relationships right now. Sunan flusteredly concealed her emotions. Second young master Chung, your skill at coaxing women is really getting better and better. Chung Yi straightened up slightly and smiled. Others don't have the privilege of being coaxed by me. True, the line of your girlfriends could circle the globe. It's always others coaxing you. Chung Yi smiled. You also know that's all fake. I'm very innocent. He then put his arm on Sunan's shoulder, his gaze doting. I'm leaving. You get some good rest. Sunan let out a sigh of relief and returned home. She picked up the emerald green pipe she had won at the auction. She curled her lips into a smile. She took close-up photos and posted them on her moments. A new toy. All are welcome to appreciate it. The next day, inside the Su Corporation building, Sunan finished a meeting and was about to enter her office. As she pushed the door open and walked in, she didn't expect Old Master Fu and Fu Yingying to be there as well. Old Master Fu sat upright on the sofa, looking at Sunan with a cold face. No manners. Don't you know to knock before entering? Faced with Old Master Fu's show of dominance, how will Sunan fight back? In order to get back his lifeline, the man directly gave Sunan a show of dominance. He thought Sunan was still the little lamb from before who could be bullied by anyone. Faced with Old Master Fu's show of dominance, Sunan sneered. She walked to her desk and sat down. Vice Chairman, I never knock when enter my own office. The ignored Old Master Fu snorted angrily. Sunan, I didn't expect that after your divorce, you become the vice president of the Su Group. I really underestimated you. No wonder you initiated the divorce. It turns out you had already found your next prospect. Sunan smiled. Vice Chairman, are you not satisfied with what you see now? Or do you still want me to kneel and listen to your lectures like I did in the Fu family? Old Master Fu was dissatisfied with Sunan's attitude. Are you trying to bring up old scores with me? How dare you speak to an elder like that? Sunan let out a laugh. This is my territory. There are no elders or juniors here, only superiors and subordinates. Old Master Fu's face turned ashen with anger. Seeing this, Fu Yingying stood up and reprimanded Sunan. How dare you speak to Grandpa like that? He's already so old. Are you trying to anger him to death? Sunan glanced at her. What a filial granddaughter. He's your grandfather. What does he have to do with me? Seeing that Sunan wouldn't yield to threats, Old Master Fu was furious. Fine, fine. Sunan, name a price. The jadeite pipe is my lifeline. How much money do you want to give it up? Sunan raised an eyebrow. Oh, so it was about this. But I've already said that thing. Even if you kneel and beg me, I won't. Old Master Fu's face was grim. Fu Yingying clenched her fists, wishing she could beat the hell out of her. Sunan, you just hate our Fu family, don't you? You just don't want our whole family to have a good life, don't you? You're deliberately not returning the pipe to Grandpa, aren't you? Sunan admitted calmly. Yes, that's right. Miss Fu, you see, I'm not some kind and weak person. Fu Yingying trembled with anger. Old Master Fu stood up and picked up the phone. Enough. Sunan, I gave you a chance. Since you don't want it, don't blame me for being ruthless. For Su Jin to be promoting a divorced woman like this, I'm quite curious what Chairman Su will do when he finds out. Sunan smiled and gestured. Please go ahead. Fu Yingying looked at Sunan smugly, with a look that said she was about to face a great disaster, waiting to watch the show. After the call connected, Su Yifeng answered the phone, his voice leisurely as he dealt with him. Vice Chairman, what puts you in the mood to call me? Chairman Su, I heard you went on vacation to Europe a few days ago. It seems you're in good spirits. Not bad. When you get older, you should get out and walk around more. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I'm fishing. Sunan raised an eyebrow. He's going to call my dad to complain? How interesting. Old Master Fu changed the subject. Ah, Chairman Su, your son has been very close to a divorced woman recently. Do you know about this? Is that so? I don't know. Su Jin is very capable, has your style from back in the day. To be held back by such a woman, wouldn't that ruin great things? Su Yifeng chuckled. Just a woman. What great things could she ruin? Old Master Fu glanced at Sunan and said meaningfully, this woman is not simple. Right after her divorce, she was promoted to the position of vice president by Su Jin, second only to him. Aren't you, the chairman, going to do something about it? Su Yifeng laughed a few times, humoring him. Vice Chairman, you should focus on managing your own children. Didn't your granddaughter sell your lifeline pipe? Oh, I've got a fish on the hook. Can't talk anymore. The call was hung up. Old Master Fu let out a cold snort. He glared at Sunan. You're quite lucky, but don't think you've escaped this. Don't think you can enter the Su family's door. Sunan smiled. You don't need to worry about that. In any case, I'm definitely entering the Su family's door. Someone, see our guests out. At this, 2 bodyguards came out. Sunan's voice was low. In the future, don't let just any riffraff into my office. Yes, Vice President Su. Old Master Fu was thoroughly angered by this trip. Truly a case of refusing a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Not long after they left, Su Yifeng called Sunan. Sunan answered the phone. Dad, how many fish did you catch? Su Yifeng was taken aback. That old man from the Fu family want to find you? Yes, he was right in my office, calling you to complain right in front of me. Bah, he has the nerve to complain? Who the hell do they think they are, daring to bully my precious daughter? Su Yifeng cursed. I haven't even gone to settle scores with them, and they dare to complain first? Don't be angry, Dad. I've already kicked them out. Su Yifeng smiled. Well done. Don't be polite. Show the Fu family what you're made of. Just then, Secretary Yu knocked and entered. Vice President Su, Brother Lin from Julie Group would like to invite you to dinner. There are some project-related issues he needs to discuss with you. Sunan acknowledged it and then spoke to her father. Dad, you continue fishing. I'm off to work on my career. After work, Sunan arrived at the appointed location. She saw not only Brother Lin, but also Fu Yechuan. What, is Brother Lin acting as a lobbyist for Fu Yechuan? What a boring man. To get revenge on her ex-husband's family, the woman didn't hesitate to spend tens of millions to buy their family heirloom at an auction. Then, she smashed it to pieces in front of her ex-husband. In order to get back the jadeite pipe, Fu Yechuan had no choice but to ask Brother Lin to invite Sunan out. As soon as Sunan opened the door, she saw Fu Yechuan, and her expression immediately darkened. Brother Lin smiled awkwardly, indicating that he couldn't help it as he was asked by someone. Sunan's tone was icy. Vice President, if this is about the pipe, there's no need to talk anymore. Sunan, don't take what Old Master said to heart. I know you just want to anger them. After some time, when you've calmed down, just return the item to him. You can name any condition. Hearing this, Sunan playfully stroked her chin. If you absolutely must have this jadeite pipe, it's not impossible. So she made a gesture, asking Brother Lin to leave first. She wanted to talk to Fu Yechuan alone. Brother Lin also felt awkward about the atmosphere between them. He broke out in a cold sweat and quickly slipped away. After Brother Lin left, Sunan spoke. Vice President, my condition is this. However much blood I donated to Qiao Wanru, have her return it all to me within a year. Fu Yechuan was stunned and asked what? Sunan snorted coldly. Is she worthy of using my blood? Since the money for buying the blood has been returned to you, then my property should be returned to me. What do you say, Vice President? Fu Yechuan asked, and you'll return the pipe to me if this is done? Sunan said lightly, we'll see. Qiao Wanru got off the plane, and Fu Yechuan went to pick her up personally. Qiao Wanru had a shy look on her face. Yechuan, you came to pick me up. After getting in the car, Fu Yechuan told Qiao Wanru, however much blood Sunan transfused to you over these 3 years, you will draw it out and return it to her within a year. Hearing this, the color drained from Qiao Wanru's face. What? WY? Are you still angry at me for wrongly accusing her? Isn't it all in the past? You don't even like her, so why do you care so much about this? If you're still not satisfied, I can apologize to her. Seeing that Fu Yechuan was unmoved, Qiao Wanru brought up Cheng Hang. If he were still here, he definitely wouldn't want this for her. Yechuan, can you bear to let him be unable to rest in peace? Hearing this, Fu Yechuan fell into deep conflict. He thought about talking to Su Nan again to see if it could be paid back within 3 years. Beside him, Qiao Wanru's face was grim. Su Nan, I will definitely not let you go. Inside the Su Corporation building, Fu Yechuan came to Su Nan's office. Su Nan, it's a bit difficult for Qiao Wanru to pay it all back within a year. Can we change it to 3 years? Su Nan's eyes turned cold. Sure. Her face grim, she pulled open a drawer. She walked towards Fu Yechuan with the pipe. Here, I'll return it to you. Just as Fu Yechuan reached out to take it. The next second, Su Nan let go of her hand. The pipe crashed onto the floor with a crack, shattering into pieces. Fu Yechuan had a look of horror on his face. Su Nan told Fu Yechuan he could take the pieces back. I'm much more a person of my word than you are, Vice President, right? Fu Yechuan was furious, but there was nothing he could do about Su Nan. Seeing that Fu Yechuan wasn't leaving, Yu Lu came forward and told him, Vice President, you should leave now. Yu Lu picked up the fragments of the pipe from the floor and handed them to Fu Yechuan. Fu Yechuan's aura was heavy with anger, but he said nothing. After Fu Yechuan left, Yu Lu told Su Nan that Ling Shuang was spreading malicious rumors about her everywhere. Yu Lu also said that Ling Shuang had recently gotten very close with some wealthy wives and young ladies. Tonight, she will be attending a party salon. Su Nan gave a wicked smile and had Yu Lu send her the address. She was going to join in the fun. This is how you deal with a white lotus. Su Nan heard that Ling Shuang was spreading rumors about her everywhere, so she came to the banquet hall holding a glass of red wine, but she didn't see Ling Shuang. Just as she was thinking that the good show she had specially prepared for Ling Shuang couldn't be staged. Suddenly, she heard several women behind her cursing Su Nan for being shameless, how she was kicked out of the Fu family, and how she latched onto Su Jin's thigh to be a mistress, along with various other curses. Su Nan stopped in her tracks and let out a cold snort. She was simply the main character at all times. Just as she was about to go over and teach those women a lesson, she heard a familiar voice, speaking aggrievedly about how pitiful she was, how she was bullied by Su Nan, and even said she wanted to teach Su Nan a lesson. The next second, Su Nan walked up behind Ling Shuang with a smile and asked, Manager Ling, what lesson did you want to teach me? Ling Shuang was also startled. Su Nan's sudden appearance made them all freeze for a moment. Ling Shuang turned her head in a panic. Vice President Su. What a coincidence. Su Nan smiled at her. Not a coincidence. I came looking for you specifically. With that, she directly poured the red wine from her glass on her head, not spilling a single drop. Ling Shuang stiffened all over, then stood up in shock, glaring at her angrily. Su Nan, are you crazy? The women beside her pointed at Su Nan angrily. You don't deserve to be here. We should call security to throw her out. Su Nan didn't even spare those two idiots a glance. She grabbed Ling Shuang's arm. Ling Shuang, as a return gift, I've also prepared a special grand gift for you. Ling Shuang thought Su Nan was going to threaten her with Director Zhang's recording, so she wasn't worried. Su Nan curled her lips into a smile. Did I say it was that recording? At this moment, an uproar came from within the banquet hall. Isn't that Ling Shuang? She's been in our circle recently. Looking up, they saw Ling Shuang on the big screen, doing indescribable things with a man in a car. A woman recognized him. Isn't that man Director Zhang from Fengheng? Mrs. Zhang, isn't that your husband? Ugh, so disgusting. Ling Shuang turned her head in panic towards Su Nan. The next second, Ling Shuang was hit with a huge slap across the face by Mrs. Zhang. Mrs. Zhang's anger soared as she cursed her for being a white lotus, daring to seduce her husband. Just a moment ago, you were instigating me, asking me to help spread rumors about Su Nan, and now you're stabbing me in the back. Mrs. Zhang grabbed her hair, threatening to beat her to death. Seeing Ling Shuang's miserable screams, Su Nan smiled with satisfaction and turned to leave. Mrs. Zhang really did have the legendary bad temper. Just then, Ning Zhiliao called, saying she had returned to the country. She asked if Su Nan was free tomorrow night to attend her big show's opening with Qinyu. Su Nan said, no problem, I'll definitely be there. White Lotus, your breathing is disturbing my mood. Just now, Su Nan brought Qinyu to a reserved brand name store to choose a gown. Seeing the two of them, the store manager spoke warmly, saying they had already cleared the store to exclusively serve the two of them. Su Nan smiled and said there was no need for the trouble. We'll just look upstairs. We won't interfere with your business. Arriving on the second floor, the store manager introduced all the limited edition styles. They would be personally displayed by models. The two looked at the dresses on the models, all of which were very beautiful. Chinyu told Su Nen that she would look good in any of them. Su Nen said she would take them all. At this moment, a commotion was heard from downstairs. Fu Yingying stood there with her hands on her hips, shouting impatiently, "Hello? Is there no one to serve in such a big store? Is this how you serve your customers?" A staff member came out to greet Miss Fu. Fu Yingying questioned, "Why did it take you so long to come? Were you just now?" Suning glanced over and saw Qiao Wanru and Fu Yingying standing at the entrance. "Huh, I should have just cleared the store." Chinyu came to the railing and looked. It really is Fu Yingying. Seeing the two were about to go up to the second floor, the staff member hurriedly apologized and stopped them. The important customers upstairs cannot be disturbed. If you wish to go to the second floor, you'll have to wait until tomorrow. Hearing this, Fu Yingying became furious. "Why can't I go? I'm your VIP customer. What kind of service attitude is this? Be careful, or I'll file a complaint against you." The staff member smiled and said with difficulty, "Miss Fu, it's really not possible." Beside her, Qiao Wanru, the green tea, started her instigation against Fu Yingying. "Yingying, let's just forget it. Maybe there's someone really important upstairs. We should just stay on the first floor." Hearing this, the always proud and arrogant Fu Yingying felt insulted. She sneered, "Today, I insist on going to the second floor to have a look. If the person upstairs is unwilling, then tell them to get down here." Ignoring the staff member's attempts to stop her, she walked upstairs. Seeing Fu Yingying's reaction, the green tea revealed a triumphant smile. Seeing Su Nan, Fu Yingying's expression was one of complete surprise. Chinyu let out a cold snort. "I was wondering who it was being so ill-mannered. Turns out it's Miss Fu." Fu Yingying gritted her teeth in anger for the mockery. "Huh, so it's you too. Did you book out the entire second floor? On what grounds are you not letting people come up?" Chinyu retorted, "On the grounds that we feel like it. None of your business." Qiao Wanru stepped forward, saw Su Nan, and smiled. "Long time no see, Su Nan." Su Nan kept her eyes lowered and didn't acknowledge her at all. Chinyu snorted again. "I was wondering who it was. Isn't this that mistress?" The atmosphere instantly became tense. Seeing the situation, the store manager stepped forward to mediate. The two ladies upstairs came first. "Could I please ask you two to wait downstairs for a moment?" Fu Yingying was unwilling. "Why should we wait?" Qiao Wanru spoke up. "We all know each other. Why don't we look together? I see the models behind you. The ready-to-wear presentation is usually only available to VIP guests and above. It's a good opportunity to appreciate them. Sunan shouldn't mind, right?" Sunan let out a mocking laugh. "I do mind, because your breathing will disturb my mood." Hearing this, Qiao Wanru's face instantly darkened, and she stared at Su Nan, her body stiff. Seeing the green tea get rebuffed, Chinyu laughed out loud. "Did you hear that? Get lost already. Miss Qiao, what gives you the right to freeload off our service?" Hearing this, the staff member asked them to go to the first floor to make their selections. Fu Yingying was very angry, thinking, "What Su Nan is doing is no different from slapping us in the face in public. It's not about the money, it's about saving face, especially in front of Su Nan." So, she waved her hand grandly. "I have plenty of money. I'll take all the clothes Su Nan wants. Now, tell them to get the hell out of here." Su Nan smiled. "Manager, since Miss Fu likes them, please wrap up all the clothes I just picked out for her. I hope Miss Fu won't want to return them because they're too expensive." When Fu Yingying heard this, it was like a challenge to her bottom line. "Return them? I'd rather throw away the things I buy than return them. You, a poor woman kept by a man, how dare you question me?" Little did she know that her words had already been recorded by Su Nan on her phone. She smiled. "That's good then." Su Nan sent the recording to the store manager as evidence. "If Miss Fu goes back on her word, you can ask the Fu family for the money." Fu Yingying laughed. "I, the great miss of the Fu family, can't afford a few pieces of clothing? Su Nan, do you think everyone is like you?" Su Nan smiled at Chinyu. "Let's go. It seems we won't be able to pick any suitable clothes today." Seeing Su Nan leave, the two of them were full of smugness. The next second, the store manager came over with a list of Su Nan selections. "Miss Fu, the total is 6.49 million. Please take a look." Boom. The color drained from Fu Yingying's face, utterly shocked. "What? How much did you say?" Our long-awaited male lead finally makes his appearance. What kind of sparks will fly between them? That night, Sunan brought her best friend to attend Ning Zhiliao's grand fashion show. Ning Zhiliao quickly pulled the two of them backstage to prepare. Sunan asked, "Prepare for what?" Ning Zhiliao said playfully, to prepare your beauty. At this moment, the host announced that the star of the show was about to make a grand entrance. Chinyu came out as the opening act. She walked out confidently in a cute, princess-style outfit. The host introduced, "The theme of this show is the galaxy and I. In the designer's concept, every woman is a unique constellation in the galaxy. They could be princesses, queens, knights, or even ordinary dust. As long as they exist, they're the vast galaxy." Ning Zhiliao appeared in a knight-style outfit, both beautiful and dashing. In the audience, Fu Yingying and Xiao Wanru were both stunned. The host introduced the final gown that was about to make its grand debut. Xian Hizhua. Sunan came out wearing the Xian Hizhua gown, dazzling and eye-catching, mysterious, noble, and elegant. It symbolized that each of us is our own queen. In the audience, Fu Yingying exclaimed, "This dress is so beautiful." Although she's a bit far and I can't see the model's face clearly, her figure is amazing, so beautiful. I must find her for a photo later. Su Nin walked with calm composure, pausing for a magnificent turn. Every move was full of charm. At this moment, a man sitting in the corner stared intently at Su Nan, a smile of appreciation on his face. After the show ended, Fu Yingying pulled Xiao Wanru backstage. She couldn't stop praising. The model who did the finale was really so beautiful. It would be great if she married my brother. The green tea beside her gave an awkward smile. The modeling circle is very messy. They do everything from drinking with clients to sleeping with them. Just then, Chinyu overheard their conversation and turned around. "If you look down on us so much, then don't come. Who invited you?" Seeing Chinyu, Fu Yingying was also very surprised. "How is it, you?" Chinyu looked the two of them up and down and chuckled, covering her mouth. "Aren't these the clothes our Su Nin didn't want? You actually wore them." The two were publicly humiliated, gritting their teeth in anger and resentment. Fu Yingying snorted coldly. "I won't argue with you. I'm here to take a photo with the model who wore the Xian Hizhua." Chinyu called out to Su Nan. "They said they want to take a picture with you." Su Nan looked at the white lotus and the green tea with a disdainful expression. "Not just anyone could take a photo with me." Both of them were shocked. "How could it be you? Why is it you?" Seeing Su Nan, Fu Yingying's face turned green. "I don't want to take a photo with you. It would only lower my status. I am the great miss of the Fu Corporation. You're just a woman kicked out by my brother." Hearing this, Ning Zhiliao hurried over and said unhappily, "The president of the Fu Corporation. I didn't even give him an admission ticket. What does a great miss count for? How did you two sneak in?" The two were rebuffed and had nothing to say. Sunan didn't want them to ruin her good mood, so she pulled Chinyu and Zhiliao away. Fu Yingying was unconvinced and asked why Sunan had the right to be there. Ning Zhiliao turned her head and told her on the grounds that she is the boss here. Hearing this, the two were shocked. Sunan turned her head and told them, "Can you get lost now?" The two of them stomped their feet in anger. Sunan saw a reporter in the corner and learned that he was the boss of Sure. Sunan clicked her tongue, thinking it would be trouble if she got entangled with reporters. Seeing the reporter chasing after them, the three of them split up. Sunan hurriedly walked past a man. The next second, the man pulled her into a room. Sunan looked at the man in shock. Just as she was about to speak, the man signaled for her to be quiet. At that moment, the reporter outside was walking past the door. The two locked eyes. Sunan wanted to say something, but the man's finger touched her lips. The woman was pinned against the wall by a strange man. Not only did she not resist, but her face blushed and her heart raced. Just then, the reporter's voice was heard from outside. "Let's go look over there." "Go." The man looked at her affectionately, then took 2 steps back and said, "They're gone." Su Nin awkwardly thanked him. Then she extended her hand and introduced herself. "My name is Su Nan. And you?" The man gently took her hand, speaking lightly. "I was just helping out." Sunan was a little displeased. He wouldn't even say his name. This person is a bit cold. The man opened the door for her, not forgetting to remind her to be careful on her way back, as the reporters might not have gone far. Sunan hummed in agreement and left. The man stood there, watching Su Nan's departing figure. Seeing Su Nan, Chinyu asked her where she was hiding just now. Su Nan said a strange person helped her. Chinyu immediately turned into a gossip monger and started prying. She asked, "Was that person handsome?" Sunan smiled and replied, "Handsome. He's my type. It's a pity he's too cold. Seems hard to get along with." The two chatted and laughed, completely unaware that Fu Yechuan had walked in. Fu Yechuan spoke, Sunan. Hearing him, the two of them instantly changed their expressions and looked at him. Chinyu clicked her tongue. "Why is he here too?" Fu Yechuan asked. "Sunan, Yingying told me you're a partner at Sure." Since when? Su Nan, with a cold face, told him, my business is none of your concern, ex-husband. Just then, Fu Yingying's anxious voice came from not far away. Sister Wanru, what's wrong? You're bleeding so much. The three of them looked over at the same time and saw Fu Yingying supporting the frail green tea. Fu Yechuan asked, why are you guys here? What on earth happened? Fu Yingying explained, just now, Sister Wanru saw you and wanted to greet you. But when she turned around, she fell to the ground and bled a lot. The green tea only had a small scrape on her forehead, but pretended to be in so much pain she was about to die. Sunan turned to call Chinyu. Let's go. I want to go back and rest. Just as she was about to leave, Fu Yingying shouted sharply, no, you can't go. Sister Wanru has lost too much blood. If you leave, who will give her a blood transfusion? The crowd nearby started discussing. So the rumors are true. Sunan is just Xiao Wanru's mobile blood bank. For the Fu family to do this is too inhumane. Sunan glared angrily at Fu Yingying. Listen to yourself. Are those the words of a human being? Fu Yingying was taken aback, then said, are you going to stand by and watch her die? It's just a little blood. It's not the first time you've donated. Sunan shot her a look. Her life and death have nothing to do with me. Xiaoyu, let's go. Just then, Fu Yechuan spoke up. Hesunan, you have to stay and help Wanru. Hearing this, Sunan's gloomy face broke into a smile. You want me to help her? She turned around, grabbed the green tea's hair, and slammed her hard onto the ground. The green tea screamed in terror. Yechuan, it hurts so much. Fu Yechuan pulled the green tea up and roared. Sunan. Sunan told Fu Yechuan, I don't have a merciful heart. If you dare to eye my blood again, don't blame me for collecting the debt with interest. And told him, I don't have the talent to be a green tea. I hope Miss Chiao has the good fortune to live. Chinyu added that his brain must be flooded. Anyone with eyes can see that Xiao Wanru is acting. Fu Yingying was even more furious, pointing at Su Nan and cursing her. But Su Nan directly ignored the White Lotus. Chinyu took out her phone and said, let's call the police in case certain people try to falsely accuse us. Seeing this, Xiao Wanru spoke meekly, Yingying, stop it. Su Nan is my lifesaver. After all, Fu Yingying trembled with anger. What kind of lifesaver is she? She just donated a little blood. The green tea trembled and fell into Fu Yechuan's arms. Yechuan, I feel so unwell. My head is so dizzy. The scumbag's heart ached for her to Sunan. A life is at stake. Are you really going to watch her suffer? Sunan clenched her arm, thinking he still wants to guilt trip me. Just then, a deep voice was heard at MR. Fu, you can't even solve a small problem like this? You have to ask others for help. The crowd turned to look at the sound, all shocked. The man came to Su Nan's side, his eyes cold at MR. Fu, I hope you understand. Sunan has nothing to do with you anymore. Likewise, she has no obligation. Sunan looked up and saw it was the man who helped her earlier. Her face couldn't help but turn red. Sunan looked at the man before her, a little puzzled. She didn't remember knowing this person. But why would he help her? The man looked at her with a doting expression. Why didn't you tell me when you ran into a shameless scoundrel? I would have been worried. Sunan was momentarily stunned. Realizing he was trying to help her, she said she'll be more careful in the future. The atmosphere instantly became clear. Where did this handsome guy come from? Fu Yingying was furious. This handsome guy, you definitely don't know her true colors. She seduced my brother for money and was kicked out of our family. Don't you fall for a trap. Xiao Wanru chimed in. That's right. You're so handsome. You're exactly her target. Don't be fooled by her. Hearing her words, Shang Qin scoffed. You were just asking Su Nan to donate blood, but now you're speaking with such vigor. You must be lying. Xiao Wanru's heart skipped a beat. A hint of ruthlessness flashed across the man's handsome face as he glanced at the woman in Fu Yechuan's arms. You are attempting extortion, and you are her accomplices. His voice carried an extremely dangerous tone. Fu Yingying still tried her best to sling mud at Su Nan, but was stopped by Fu Yechuan's cold voice. Shang Qin turned his gaze to Su Nan. The ruthlessness on his face was long gone, replaced by a look full of tenderness. The injuries Su Nan suffered in the past were not her fault. I hope I have the chance to protect her in the future. Are you willing to give me this chance? Su Nan's chest suddenly tightened. Whether he was being kind or something else, she would just play along with him for now. She thought for a moment and agreed. Seeing this, the man took her by the wrist and turned to leave. Chinyu, standing on the side, was hit with a wave of public display of affection, feeling goosebumps all over. Fu Yingying gritted her teeth as she watched the two leave. And Fu Yechuan stared at her departing back, his face tense and extremely ugly. Shang Qin, led her away from the banquet. He politely let go of Sunan's hand. "That I'm sorry. The situation was urgent just now. I had to do that to help you out. I hope I didn't offend you." Sunan understood instantly. She smiled. "It's fine. I should also thank you for helping me out for the second time." This man had a mature, steady, and mysterious aura. His every move exuded a noble coldness. "You can tell me your name this time, right?" The man's expression returned to normal. "My name is Shang Qian." Sunan smiled. "Shang Qian, it's a pleasure to meet you." She suddenly frowned. The name sounded a bit familiar, but she couldn't remember where she had heard "Oh, express my apologies. Let me take Miss Su home." Sunan didn't stand on ceremony with him. As she got into the car, Shang Qian watched with a deep and gloomy gaze, but a hint of emotion appeared between his brows. She doesn't remember. The next morning, Sunan was woken up by her phone ringing. She reluctantly opened her eyes, picked up her phone, and heard Qin use urgent-voiced, "My dear, how can you still be sleeping? Someone is deliberately smearing your name. The internet is in an uproar. Someone posted a long essay, implicitly naming you and fabricating your scandals to look real. The key is, these revelations can't be suppressed. Go take a look." Sunan hung up and went online. Sure enough, her name was trending at #1 again. She sighed and clicked on IT.su and has no status and no background. How did she become the vice president of a listed company? Sunan didn't take a penny in the divorce. How can she afford a luxury car? Who is Sunan's sugar daddy? Waiting for the reveal. Photos of Sunan with Su Jin, even Chung Yi, and some business clients were posted online as evidence. It was as if her private life was extremely chaotic, and her divorce wasn't as clean and straightforward as it seemed. Public opinion was guiding everything to the worst possible conclusion. Reading the descriptions, Sunan's face darkened. This time, the situation was so serious that it was affecting the company's stock. The phone suddenly rang. Sunan immediately answered it. Su Jin's voice was a little tired. "Don't go out today, and don't come to the company." Sunan said she had already seen the news online. She would contact Du Yin immediately. If it was just targeting her personally, she wasn't afraid. But it involved the company, and there were too many things to consider. Su Jin said it was useless. This time, old Master Fu personally gave the order. "Because you broke his pipe, he's holding grudge. You don't have to do anything. Dad plans to announce your identity at the company's anniversary celebration. The more viciously they curse you now, the more humbly they'll have to apologize in the future. Originally, we planned to announce your identity naturally after your position was secure. But now it seems some people can't wait to see you never rise again. Is there any news about that woman? By now, she should have come to apologize. This time, not only must she kneel and apologize, but she must also be taught a lesson." The butler said there was no news. Old Master Fu asked again, "Then is there any movement from the Su group?" Initially, the stock price fell a little, but under CEO Su Jin's handling, it has already stabilized. Old Master Fu sensed something was not right and told the butler to dial Sunan's number directly. On the other side, Sunan was at home, browsing online shopping. Bye really does make one happy. She was waiting for a link to go live. Suddenly, the phone rang. Seeing the number, Sunan quickly hung up, but it still made her miss the flash sale. Finally, she sent a private message. "Honey, if you're in Europe, could you help me pick out a few gifts?" The cost is not an issue. After seeing the message, the live streamer rejected it without a second thought. She replied again, "Then I'll buy out all the products in the live stream. You just stream for me alone." The live streamer raised an eyebrow. Such big talk. "All the products." He turned his head and asked the staff next to him, "What's our estimated sales for today?" "About 800 million. He thought this would definitely scare the person away. He randomly replied in the chat box, 800 million. Can you afford to buy it all? Sunan thought for a moment, then exited the live stream. The live streamer saw her leave and scoffed. Sorry, babies. I was just harassed by a customer who can't afford it. It's not easy for us either. If you can't afford it, you should reflect on yourself. Have you been working hard all these years? Just as he finished speaking, his phone rang. He found the number strange. Why would the boss call him at this time? As soon as he answered, he was cursed out by the boss. Because the customer he had just looked down on had bought their company. Sunan re-entered the live stream and told them to send all the products to her home. Then she fired him. After arranging everything, Sunan lay happily on her bed. Not bad. A perfect ending to the night. Just then, the phone rang again. Sunan impatiently answered the phone. You sure have a lot of time. At this moment, old Master Fu's voice was clearly filled with anger. Sunan, you dare to hang up on me? Sunan was so angry she laughed. It was her phone. She would hang up if she wanted to. Old Master Fu was coldly silent for a few seconds. Fine. I won't bicker with a junior about breaking my pipe. As long as you publicly apologize to me and pay 300 million in compensation, I'll have the online marketing accounts stop attacking you. I can also arrange a position for you in the Fu family's company, give you a job. Sunan didn't know where Old Master Fu got the nerve to say this. What was wrong with her breaking something she bought with her own money? As for the Fu family's charity, they should save it for the dogs. Old Master Fu felt that Sunan was refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit, being so ungrateful. But Sunan didn't want to listen to his rambling anymore and decisively hung up the phone. Over at the Fu residence, Old Master Fu felt that taking the initiative to call her was already giving Sunan face. He didn't expect her to dare hang up on him now. He immediately flew into a rage, telling the people around him to investigate Sunan's whereabouts. Then he told them to inform the reporters and use superpowers to make the reporters interview her properly. He didn't believe she could still be so indifferent. That day, Sunan felt the things she bought were nice, so she sent them to Su Jin's house. The moment the door opened a crack, she happily held up the things in her hand. Surprise! Look what I bought you. Shang Qian was suddenly stunned. At the same time, Sunan stood awkwardly in place. Why are you here? I came to see Su Jin. After saying that, he politely took the things from Sunan's hands. After entering the house, Su Jin introduced him. Shang Qian, my friend. You two met when you were little, don't you remember? Sunan walked to the sofa and sat down, wondering when they had met. Miss Su. It's normal that you don't remember me. It's enough that I remember Miss Su. Su Jin said while pouring tea. When you were little, Grandpa even joked about arranging a childhood engagement for you two. Hearing this, Sunan started to recall. Suddenly, she said in surprise, it's you. It turned out they had met when they were very young. Little Nan, Shang Qian likes you very much. That's the Shang family's little grandson. How about you marry him when you grow up? Little Sunan saw the little Shang Qian with 2 pigtails and decisively refused. So the little boy back then was him. What a huge change. To think they had met so early. How had you been all these years? Shang Qian replied, all right. Seeing this, Su Jin dropped another bombshell. Shang Qian has always been single. When you got married, he was sad for a long time. Shang Qian took the tea from Su Jin, a little regretful that he couldn't come to see her when she got married. Sunan said lightly, it was just a marriage not worth mentioning. Suddenly, another teacup clinked against the one in her hand. She looked to the side and saw a smile on the man's face. Then I wish Miss Su an early happiness. Su Jin saw some kind of inexplicable affection developing between the two and then cleared his throat. He asked Su Nan if she knew anyone reliable who could show Shang Qian around. He had just returned from abroad and wanted to help him quickly adapt to the pace of life here. Hearing this, Sunan immediately patted her chest and volunteered herself. Mr. Shang had helped her out before, and she was just looking for a chance to thank him. Then I'll have to trouble Miss Su. Hearing how he addressed her, Sunan told Shang Qian to just call her by her name. Watching the two of them talking and laughing, Su Jin just felt that this kid's return to expand the market was a pretense. In the eyes of the Fu family, she was still that weak and easily bullied, scheming woman with no background, no money, and no power, trying to marry into a wealthy family. So they had no scruples, using their power to force her into a corner, trying to make her life bleak and a complete failure. Because Shang Qian had helped Sunan before, she wanted to repay the favor and personally show Shang Qian around. Sunan just opened the door and saw a person she least wanted to see, so she asked irritably why he was here. Fu Yechuan said he came specifically to find her. He was coldly silent for a few seconds. Sunan, just give in. Apologize properly to Grandpa, and I'll take care of the things online. Fu Yechuan, you guys are playing good cop, bad cop. Do you take me for a fool? Sunan couldn't help but mock him coldly. Since we've already torn off all pretenses, let's just make things clear. Your Fu family has thrown the dirtiest water in the world on me, and now you're putting on a hypocritical, savior-like act. Don't you feel disgusted? The atmosphere in the air instantly became cold and oppressive. The other person was stunned for a moment that, Sunan, I was wrong about the past. But as long as you apologize, eyes. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by Su Nan's cold voice that don't bother. This wasn't my fault. Why should I be the one to apologize? She tried her best to suppress her emotions that I'm used to being scolded. Please pass on a message to Chairman Fu. Tell him to stop pestering me, or else don't blame me for being impolite. After speaking, she turned around crisply. Seeing that Su Nan refused to admit fault, Fu Yechuan's face had turned dark and ugly, his expression frosty as Su Nan. Just as he called the woman's name, he saw a man walk out of Su Nan's house. Shang Qian glanced indifferently at Fu Yechuan. Then he turned his gaze back to Su Nan. Nan, weren't you going to get the car? Su Nan said she was delayed by an irrelevant person. Upon hearing the word irrelevant, Fu Yechuan's heart suddenly throbbed with pain. He looked at the man in front of him with confusion, suddenly remembering that this was the man from the banquet last time. Subconsciously, he assumed that Su Nan was already living with this man. Thinking of this, Fu Yechuan gritted his teeth, feeling very bitter. His face instantly became extremely ugly. He then questioned Su Nan, why did he come out of your house? And what is your relationship? Su Nan angrily cursed, none of your damn business. Fu Yechuan's heart throbbed uncontrollably. Su Nan, why are you debasing yourself? Just then, several people holding cameras pointed at them. The information is accurate. Su Nan is over there. Tomorrow's headline will be mine. So the crowd swarmed over, surrounding the three of them. Their aim pointed at Su Nan. Excuse me, is the gentleman in front of you your fourth rumored male companion? Vice President Fu, are you glad you got divorced now? Shang Qian immediately protected Su Nan behind him. Sir, are you aware of the origin of Miss Su's assets? Did you provide them? Shang Qian remained silent. The next second, Su Nan coldly stopped the crowd. Enough. I will respond to the recent public opinion at the Su family's anniversary celebration. And now, I will have my lawyer sue you for illegal trespassing. Just as the crowd was stunned into silence, several bodyguards came over and drove them out. Su Nan let out a scoff. The Fu family's tactics are so low they're laughable. Fu Yechuan's heart sank heavily. He quickly explained, I didn't call this group of reporters. Su Nan directly threw out a bullshit, completely unwilling to say another word to him, and went home with Shang Qian. The door slammed shut with a bang. As expected, this matter quickly became a top trending topic. Su Nan dared to leave the marriage with nothing, because she had already found her next prospects, and more than one. It was accompanied by a picture of the three-person charade scene. Public opinion guided everything to the worst possible conclusion. For the entire afternoon, the online discussions were all negative news about Su Nan. Su Yifeng, far away in another country, looked at the trending topics in his hand. He almost crushed his phone. Damn you, Fu family. The top trending video was the scene of Su Nan's forceful response to the reporters. Online, some people cursed Su Nan for her indecent behavior, while others said Shang Qian was a pretty boy. There was silence in the car. Su Nan's face gradually turned cold. At this moment, the man who had been driving beside her saw that her expression was not good. So he asked, what happened? Why are you so unhappy? Su Nan answered truthfully. That group of reporters was writing nonsense online. It's one thing to write about me, but now they've written him up as a pretty boy that I'm keeping. After saying that, she felt it was inappropriate and quickly apologized to Shang Qian for getting him involved. But Shang Qian said nonchalantly, it's fine. This is a novel experience for me too. Very interesting. After speaking, the corners of his mouth lifted unconsciously. There was a hint of helplessness in his eyes. As long as he could be by his side, he was already very satisfied. Su Nan suddenly remembered her brother saying he had just returned to the country and hadn't bought many things. So she suggested taking him shopping at the mall. Shang Qian smiled. Okay, then I'll have to trouble Nan. Then the two drove to a luxury store. Nan sat on the sofa, sipping black tea while waiting for Shang Qian to change clothes. As she was concentrating on her tea, she suddenly heard a store clerk call out, Miss Fu, Miss Chiao. Please come in, you two. Su Nan was speechless. Such familiar names. It can't really be those two plagues, can it? She was feeling disgusted in her heart. Then she saw Chiao Wanru and Fu Yingying walk in through the door, talking and laughing. That bad woman Su Nan must be panicking to death right now. I'm going to shop till I drop to celebrate. Chiao Wanru covered her mouth and chuckled lightly. I really didn't expect Su Nan to be this kind of person. Her voice stopped abruptly when she saw Su Nan in the store. Fu Yingying looked in shock at the leisurely Su Nan sipping tea. Why is she here? She immediately said irritably, you're embroiled in a scandal, and you still have the nerve to come out? Don't tarnish the Fu family's reputation outside. Su Nan scoffed coldly, reminding Fu Yingying, Your family's reputation is worth tarnishing? Your family plotted against me, and your brother messed around with Xiao Wanru during our marriage. I haven't even held the Fu family accountable yet. Hearing her own brother being cursed by his ex-sister-in-law, Fu Yingying immediately gritted her teeth. Who do you think you are? How dare you curse my brother here? Xiao Wanru stepped forward and pulled Fu Yingying's arm. But don't say that. Soon it must be very sad after divorcing Yechuan. It's understandable for her to have some extreme reactions. Who is this act for? Sunan rolled her eyes. Where's that dog barking from? Xiao Wanru's face instantly turned ugly. Fu Yingying got even angrier. Sunan, watch your mouth. Just then, the door of the fitting room clicked open. The three of them looked over in unison. They saw a man exuding a faint, cold aura emerge from the fitting room. The man had perfectly sculpted features, his looks extremely refined. He possessed a natural elegance and nobility. A pair of overly cold eyes, however, made this elegance seem almost indifferent. As soon as Shangqian came out, he asked, "Why is it so noisy?" Fu Yingying's eyes sparkled as she looked at Shangqian, her eyes filled with hearts. Her excitement was hard to describe. She fantasized, "He's so handsome. Why should a woman like Sunan get him? If I could snatch him away, Sunan will definitely be furious." Shangqian paid no attention to the two women who had appeared before him. He walked straight to Su Nan and asked, "Nan, what do you think of this one?" Su Nan looked up, then covered her nose with her hand. "The clothes are fine, but something smelly has polluted the air." She was a bit surprised at first, but quickly reacted. Shangqian, ever the gentleman, smiled cooperatively. "Then let's have the store get rid of the dirty things." After saying that, he prepared to lead Su Nan out, but his phone rang. He apologized to Su Nan. He turned and walked to the side to answer the call. Fu Yingying eagerly followed behind the man, then stealthily stopped at a corner. She heard the man say into the phone, "Do you need me to return to city in a couple of days?" After a brief chat, he hung up. Just as he was about to turn and leave, Fu Yingying blocked his path. Shangqian asked with confusion, "What is it? You know me, right? I'm a young lady of the Fu family. The person you're with now only got ahead by using her body. She doesn't have much capital at all." Hearing someone belittle Su Nan like this, Shangqian's eyes instantly turned deadly cold. Fu Yingying pointed her finger at Shangqian and then shamelessly said, "This young lady has taken a liking to you. I'm planning to keep you. Name your price." Shangqian's smile froze slightly, his gaze darkening for a moment, but it returned to normal in just a second. "Unfortunately, I'm not interested in you." After speaking, he brushed past Fu Yingying. Fu Yingying was stunned. Seeing the pretty boy being ungrateful, she flew into a rage. "Who do you think you are? Plenty of people want to get involved with our Fu family. It's your good fortune that I've taken a fancy to you." As soon as she finished speaking, she felt a cold gust of wind behind her. Immediately after, Su Nan's icy tone approached from behind. "Fu Yingying, if you have nothing better to do, go find a building to jump off of. Stop appearing in front of me, trying to get attention." At this moment, Fu Yingying wished she could go up and tear Su Nan to shreds, furiously cursing Su Nan for being a slut who would sleep with anyone, and now she was out shopping with a pretty boy. "And you still dream of marrying into the Su family." Su Nan let out a light scoff. "Miss Fu, is this envy, jealousy, and hate?" Then she said to Shangqian, "Even though she's the young lady of the Fu family, you know how it is with the Fu family. They don't actually have much money." Shangqian said, "I can tell. She even had to sell her grandfather's antiques to pay off debts before. It's quite pathetic." After speaking, the two left with a smile under Fu Yingying's envious, jealous, and hateful gaze. Fu Yingying was so angry, she stomped her feet. "Sunan, you just wait." After the two left the luxury store, Shangqian asked if the Fu family had always treated her this way. Sunan replied helplessly, "Yes. I don't know why. They have so much endless, stubborn energy every day." Shangqian wanted to help her handle the public opinion, but Sunan refused his kind offer, saying she had her own plans. Then she let out a cold, indifferent laugh. "They can only act up for a little while longer. Let's not talk about them. Let's go eat." Shangqian politely said, "Thank you, President Su." Sunan didn't expect him to be so polite, but Shangqian said, "Today my role is President Su's pretty boy. Of course, I have to be a little more obedient." After the two arrived at the restaurant, Sunan looked at the table full of dishes. She suddenly felt that Shangqian was really thoughtful. He had ordered all of her favorite foods. To hide his true feelings, Shangqian lied and said that her brother had told him what she liked. After speaking, he passed the sliced beef in his hand to her. Su Nan teased, President Shang is so considerate. You have the potential to be a pretty boy. To her surprise, Shang Qian took her words seriously. I can be yours. Su Nan paused, an imperceptible blush appearing on her face. He then added, as long as you're happy. Shang Qian was very good at managing the conversation, never making her feel awkward. Just then, Lu Qi saw the two of them talking and laughing, and said, Su Nan is here too, Fu Yechuan, following his line of sight, his originally smiling eyes. But when he saw her chatting happily and relaxed with another man, the sight was exceptionally jarring. His face darkened in an instant. In that moment, anger and jealousy intertwined and surged forth. Lu Qi didn't notice his strange behavior and continued to mock. Netizens are verbally attacking her, but she doesn't care at all and is out with a pretty boy. It's a good thing you divorced her early. Otherwise, before he could finish his sentence, Fu Yechuan suddenly stood up, choking back the rest of his words. What are you doing? Fu Yechuan ignored him and walked straight to Su Nan's side, speaking coldly. Su Nan, don't you think you've gone too far? The two looked over at the sound. Upon seeing Fu Yechuan, the smile on her face vanished instantly, replaced by a cold expression. Seeing this, Fu Yechuan's heart felt as if it had been pierced by something sharp, an uncontrollable pang of pain. If you're doing all this to provoke me, then you succeeded. But there is absolutely no possibility of us remarrying. Su Nan knitted her brows, seeming to have been choked by Fu Yechuan's words, and coughed dryly twice. She didn't know what had gotten into Fu Yechuan again. A trace of coldness flashed through Shang Qian's narrow eyes. Vice President Fu really loves to be sentimental. Fu Yechuan's voice carried an unconcealable coldness. This is no place for you to speak. The two faced off for more than 10 seconds. Then, Su Nan abruptly stood up. A hint of ridicule flashed in her eyes. Fu Yechuan, we are having a nice meal here. Why do you have to come here and shout? With that one sentence, Fu Yechuan's face instantly grew colder. Immense anger suppressed in his eyes that you're debasing yourself. Shang Qian suddenly stood between the two. Vice President Fu, I hope you can take responsibility for the words you've said and the things you've done. You treat Nan with disdain, but there will always be someone who treats her like a treasure. Fu Yechuan lifted his eyes to glance at him, solemnly examining his expression. What are you trying to say? You don't treat her well, and you won't allow others to treat her well? I don't understand. Is this your way of conducting yourself? Su Nan couldn't help but purse her lips. That's right. I'm also the apple of my father's and brother's eyes. It's ridiculous that I was so subservient in the Fu family. Even if the whole world were to curse me, Fu Yechuan has no right to. Let's go. But Shang Qian said, we're not the ones who should be leaving. Right, President Fu? Fu Yechuan was silent for a moment. You'd better not regret this. Shang Qian was worried it would affect Su Nan's mood for the meal, but she said she was actually a little happy. Soon, the scandal about Su Nan keeping a man was trending again. This time, it even affected the Su Corporation stock price. It was also revealed that she and a mysterious man had entered a luxury venue in a high-profile manner. A photo of the two was attached below. The headline below was even more creative. Former wealthy matron and her new male pet dine sweetly. Meanwhile, in the general manager's office of the Su Corporation, Yulu reported to Su Jing, today's trending topic about Vice President Su has had a slight impact on the Su Corporation. Do we need to handle it? But Su Jing didn't even raise his head, continuing to flip through the documents in his hand. Then he said, no need. The innocent will prove themselves. Don't pay too much attention to this nonsense. At the airport, Su Qi was sitting in the VIP lounge, sending a message to Su Nan on his phone, saying he was already at the airport waiting for her. Just then, the door to the lounge opened. Fu Yingying and Xiao Wanru walked in with looks of pleasant surprise. Film Emperor Su, I've finally found you. Su Qi's handsome and elegant face was right in front of them. His features were as if meticulously carved by divine hands, without a single flaw. It was a face that even women would be jealous of. Fu Yingying immediately moved closer. Film Emperor Su, hello. I've liked you for a long time. Can I have your contact information? Su Qi put on a professional smile and politely refused. Fu Yingying thought he must not know her identity, which was why he was ignoring her. So she revealed her identity. Film Emperor Su, don't be so quick to refuse. I am Fu Yingying, the young lady of the Fu family. I heard you have a film nominated for the Golden Bell Awards. The Fu family happens to be on the organizing committee. Xiao Wanru added that they had no ill intentions. that you'll be developing your career back in the country later. Having more friends means more opportunities. When Suchi heard them mention the Fu family, his face instantly darkened and his good mood vanished. Then he stood up, coldly dropped the line that he had urgent matters to attend to, and turned to leave without further pleasantries. The two women were left stunned. He was perfectly fine just a moment ago. How could his expression change so suddenly? Xiao Wanru eagerly pulled Fu Yingying to chase after him. As soon as Su Chi came out, he saw Su Nan standing there waiting for him. His previously gloomy face instantly lit up with joy. He strode over to Su Nan in a few quick steps, eagerly opening his arms to embrace her, clinging to her neck like a kangaroo and not letting go that it's been so many years. Nan Nan is still as beautiful as ever. Su Nan boasted, of course. Look who it is. The sight of the two embracing was exceptionally jarring. Fu Yingying was already shocked to see Su Nan, but she never expected her to be hugging Su Chi. An irrepressible anger rose in her chest. How could they be so intimate? It made her burn with jealousy. Su Chi, you're not allowed to hug her. Hearing this, Su Nan glanced over indifferently. I was wondering why you took so long to come out. So you were tangled up with someone unclean. Fu Yingying's face turned pale with anger. Su Nan, who are you calling unclean? Who knows how many men you've been with? Su Nan didn't even spare the fool a glance. Whoever gets worked up is who I'm talking about. As for my men, there are more than you can count. She never expected Su Nan to admit it so directly in front of Su Chi. Fu Yingying glared at her furiously, her voice sharp and harsh. Cursing Su Nan, I'm going to kill you. Her raised arm was suspended in midair, grabbed by another hand. Immediately after, a cold, powerful voice came from above. Try saying that one more time. The man's dark eyes were cold and deep, his aura terrifyingly oppressive. Fu Yingying was so scared that physiological tears streamed down her face. Su Chi viciously flung away the hand he was holding. Then he left with Su Nan. Fu Yingying fell to the ground in a sorry state. The grievance in her eyes was gradually replaced by anger. Why? Why does everyone dote on Su Nan? Even Su Chi has been deceived by her. A trace of contempt flashed through Xiao Wanru's pretty eyes. So useless. Then she took out her phone and showed Fu Yingying the photo she had just taken of the two embracing. Film Emperor Su may have been deceived, but we can let his fans save him. Meanwhile, Su Chi had just returned home. He told Su Jing what had happened at the airport. Big brother, did you know? That person from the Fu family actually bullied our little sister in front of me just now. I was especially heroic at that moment. Suddenly, Su Jing held his phone up in front of him. After seeing the content clearly, the words he was about to say came to an abrupt halt. Why don't you explain this headline first? Film Emperor Su's relationship confirmed. Affectionately embracing girlfriend at airport. Film Emperor Su's girlfriend is surprisingly the wealthy family bully, Su Nan. Below was the photo of Su Nan and Su Chi embracing. Su Chi wanted to cry, but had no tears. His fans were all very rational. This shouldn't be happening. Su Nan, who was lying on the sofa looking at her phone, suddenly said, when I went to pick up third brother, I ran into Xiao Wanru and Fu Yingying. They must be the ones who guided the public opinion. Just as Su Chi was about to clarify the matter, he was stopped by Su Nan. Don't be anxious. The anniversary celebration is the day after tomorrow. Why don't we settle all accounts at that time? After 3 years of marriage filled with humiliation, Su Nan divorced. In front of her ex-husband, she tore into her former mother-in-law and sister-in-law. At the Su family's anniversary celebration, Su Nan was wearing a world-class collector's piece, a light gray, diamond-encrusted long dress that perfectly outlined her slender waist. The pink diamonds, dazzling under the lights, complemented the priceless necklace, elevating her entire aura to the extreme. She was breathtakingly beautiful. There was still some time before the start. As soon as Su Nan arrived in the hall, she heard everyone whispering, isn't that the woman who's been entangled with the young master of the Su family and that celebrity recently? She couldn't be here to force a confrontation, could she? How audacious. We should stay away from her. Su Nan ignored everyone's chatter. Inadvertently, she looked up and saw Fu Yechuan. He stood not far away with a deep gaze, staring at her figure with a cold frown. Their eyes met. Her Her steps forward faltered. Fu Yechuan strode towards her. The man stared at her with a cold, powerful gaze. "Why are you here?" Sunan tilted her head and retorted, "Why can't I be here? Doesn't she know that everyone is waiting to see her make a fool of herself tonight?" Suddenly, Sunan's wrist was grabbed by the man. His voice carried some anxiety that, "If you're thinking of confronting Su Jing today, forget it. This isn't a place for you to cause trouble. If something happens, I won't be able to protect you." Sunan violently shook off the man's hand. Then she laughed out loud, her eyes cold. "Protect me? You're afraid of being associated with me and implicating your Fu family, aren't you?" The reason she was in this state, scorned by everyone, wasn't it all the Fu family's doing? Sunan, Chao Wanru ran over from a distance and stood beside Fu Yechuan. Her voice was as gentle as her name. "It's all my fault. I know you hate me in your heart. I don't blame you for what happened before. But can you please not cause a scene here? It will make both families very embarrassed." Sunan's cold gaze swept over Chao Wanru. She was so speechless, she just wanted to roll her eyes. At this moment, Fu Yingying and Chu Qin also walked over. "Sister Wanru, why are you saying all this to her? Seducing men is her thing, not ours." Chu Qin continued her word with more mockery. "A prestigious family like the Su family isn't something just anyone can cling to, especially not some secondhand goods." Before she could finish her sentence, a slap landed on her face. Seeing this, Fu Yingying opened her mouth to curse. "I'll fight you." Another soft sound, and Fu Yingying's face was slapped to the side. Sunan swept a cold, powerful gaze over them. "Watch your mouths. Otherwise, it won't be just a slap next time." Fu Yingying clutched her face with one hand and tugged on Fu Yechuan's clothes with the other. "Gee, go teach that woman a lesson." Chu Qin also glared at Fu Yechuan. The man looked at her with a cold expression. Sunan, apologize. You've gone too far this time. Chao Wanru's eyes flickered. Suppressing the excitement in her heart, she said, "Yes. If this gets out, the Su family's banquet today will become a laughingstock." Sunan heard this and lowered her head and smiled. "Your presence here is the biggest laughingstock." Meanwhile, old